Hi, I'm Case Lowe, co-host of the Open the Voice Gate podcast. The one question I'm constantly asked when it comes to Dragon Gate is, how do I get into the promotion? Well, stop asking and start listening to the Open the Voice Gate podcast, released every Wednesday on the Voices of Wrestling podcasting network. For exclusive news and show reviews, look no further than the leader in Dragon Gate coverage, Open the Voice Gate.
Most people don't realize how much their personal information is being bought and sold every day. Data brokers are making billions, pulling details about you from public records and the internet, and then packaging and selling it, usually without your consent. That's how your information lands in the hands of scammers, spammers, even stalkers. It's why you get endless robocalls and why ads seem to follow you everywhere. That's where Aura comes in. Aura actively removes your data from broker sites and keeps it off. They also instantly alert you if your information shows up in a breach or on the dark web. But Aura goes beyond data protection. With one app, you get a VPN, antivirus, password manager, spam call protection, dark web monitoring, and even up to $5 million in identity theft insurance. All backed by 24/7 US-based fraud support. Other companies might sell just credit monitoring or just a VPN. Aura gives you all of it, together, at the same price competitors charge for just one service. Start your free trial today at aura.com/remove. Protect yourself now at aura.com/remove.
This podcast is a member of the Voices of Wrestling podcasting network. Visit voicesofwrestling.com to hear the rest of our great podcasts, as well as show reviews, columns, opinions, and updates across the world of wrestling.
Thank you so much for supporting WWE and NXT and me. You're so sweet.
You are listening to the Flagship Podcast with your hosts, Joe Lanza.
Trouble, that's me. Cherry lips and bad energy. Say it once, say it twice, and I give it to you all night.
Rich Craig.
Every single time he comes out, he goes, I was trying to help you. I was trying to help you.
Because again, you have to be a simpleton to enjoy this stuff.
Statistically dumb and statistically poor. We should point that out. And we are live on the Flagship Podcast. I am Rich. He is Joe. Joe, we're back after a week hiatus. Happy to be back at it.
There must be some mistake. I do not see WWE Saturday night's main event on the run sheet. The preview of that huge event taking place on the Cock. That's still on Peacock, right?
No. Oh, wait, yes. Yeah, no, it is. It is.
I would have believed you if you would have said it wasn't.
Yeah, no, that's the last vestige of the Peacock. Yes, is Saturday night's main event, because it was on NBC and then it moved to the intimate confines. I forget what was their exact reasoning, but
what was the reason? Can't remember.
They had some cockamamie reason why. It'll just serve more people if it's not on network TV. Instead, it's on Peacock only. But
they'll retry it again in 8 more years, and it won't work again, like every other reboot that they attempt of that. But of the super mainstream WWE wrestling.
Global brand, it's a hell of a show. Yeah, it's a hell of an episode of Rampage that they're presenting here this Saturday. I mean, main event, the earnest main event is Ethan Page and Penta, right?
That is the in earnest main event, correct?
Huh.
BFAB is wrestling on this show, so that tells you all you need to know. Pretty bad. I could see why you don't have it on the run sheet.
Yeah,
you don't want to break it down, but you'll have to have it on the run sheet next week when we break down and review it, which I can't let you get out of that.
No, that's fine. Yeah, I got out of, what was it, fucking Backlash or whatever? That was nifty work by me last week to get out of Backlash. So, I will have to do Saturday night's main event. That's fine.
You will.
This one, what do we have? I don't even know the whole. Okay, so it was Penta and Ethan Page for the IC title. Mm-hmm. Logan Paul, who is, my God, just absolutely a guy on the roster. It's unbelievable how quickly they made him just a dude on the roster. And Austin Theory versus the Street Profits for the World Tag Team titles. Rhea Ripley, Charlotte Flair, and Alexa Bliss versus Jade Cargill, Michin, and the aforementioned BFAB. Becky Lynch versus Sol Ruca, non-title. And then Paige and Brie Bella. Who asked for a Paige and Brie Bella tag team? in 2026 versus Lash Legend and Nia Jax. My God.
Wow. What a show.
Yeah.
Why are there more matches on this than your typical Levesque pay?
That's a great question, Shelton. I don't know.
Need 5 matches on this thing?
It's when you can offer up so many. Paige and Brie Bella versus Lash Legend and Nia Jax. Who's the best worker in that match? Paige, Brie Bella, Lash Legend, Nia Jax. Who's the best worker in that match?
Oh my God.
Is it Paige?
That's a really good question.
It might be Paige, which is not good.
Might be Paige.
Because Lash is horrible. Nia's
Nia's the
reckless.
shits.
Yeah,
Just say it.
terrible.
She's the shits.
And Brie was never good, and now she's 12 years older than when she was really bad. So, I think Saraya.
Remember that brief period of time where people were trying to say that Nia Jax was really good?
Oh, yeah, terrible.
For that 8 months there or whatever it was. It's like, man, it's like, I feel like every wrestler has their time where, hardcore smarks will decide that they're actually good. Every wrestler has it, ever so brief. Mm-hmm. The Miz had it in 2007. Remember that?
Oh yeah. And then again, he got it twice. He had it in 2007, and then he got it again in I want to say it was 2014, 15.
Yes.
Yeah, it was started up again, and we're like, actually, the Miz is pretty good. And it's like, shut up.
No,
stop.
No, he's not. Yeah, that like peak wrestling Twitter before it truly went to shit. Yeah, around 2014. You're right that he did have another one. Yeah, I don't know if anyone's going to go down that well again, but
everyone gets a turn, and we've been around so long that we've seen all the and I can sniff them out instantly. I can just tell it's a thing that's happening for a couple of weeks. Just let it happen.
Yeah, it's gonna. Yeah, Jinder Mahal.
Yes,
got it.
Yes, Jinder Mahal got it. Baron Corbin got it at a certain time as well. Where it's
when he was feuding with Kalisto. And
yes.
It's everyone gets a turn. Everyone gets a turn where they're actually good. And some of these people we're talking about are some of the worst wrestlers of the modern era. When you're talking about your Nia Jaxes of the world and Jinder Mahal is, oh my God, the guy's he's the drizzling shits. Terrible. He's a terrible pro wrestler. It's something. I mean, I'm trying to think. Did Bad Luck Fale ever get it? I think he did. When he was
yeah. There were a couple of those Okada. When in the peak of him and Okada, there were a couple of
roadblock for Okada and Tanahashi.
Yeah. There was a couple. Well, that was in peak Okada's bad actually. So it was actually Bad Luck Fale is the reason those matches are good, and it's oh, okay, all right, sure, that's right.
I thought, I think peak Okada is bad actually was with the Balloon era.
No, I mean, no.
That's a little later.
No, I mean, good Okada is bad, actually. You see what I'm saying? When everybody said he was good, that's when people decided that he was bad, actually. Do you see what I'm saying?
There's a lot of nuance to this, but right. I understand now.
You see what I'm saying? When he was at his peak is when people started doing actually, every one of his matches is the same and nothing matters for the first 25 minutes and he's not very good. And then when he did the balloon stuff and he was being bad on purpose, that's when those people were actually, he's good. And it's no, he's being bad on purpose. Why are you guys always the opposite? What are you doing here?
Yeah, it gets pretty wild out there.
To have those, you got to always have a contrarian take, and the issue is being it's like the reverse smarkdom. You have to be contrarian of the contrarians, and then it just becomes very difficult. And then you end up,
and then you end up being Matt D. Yeah, I mean that's what happens. Right. So that's it's crazy.
It's difficult.
But I long for those days compared to what we have now.
The halcyon days of just arguing about Jinder Mahal being good. Actually,
I'm just going, what? No, Jinder Mahal sucks. You're wrong, right? That seems like the happy days compared to what we have now, which is just rampant, nonsensical WWE loons. Just not able to have any. At least the people who thought Jinder was good. At least there was some basis of a conversation to be had with people like that. There's no conversation to be had with people on wrestling social media these days. You just can't conversate with any of these people.
No, it's absolute lunacy.
Complete waste of time.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Yeah, we're going to talk about it as we talk about the Champion Carnival later in this night. I mean, we used to have like knockout, drag-out fights about Hideki Suzuki, but those were good arguments. Those were like closer to the message boards. Like we always said, like Twitter isn't the same as the message boards, and it's much worse than the message boards. But now you go back to that era of Twitter, and you're like, God, it was closer. I mean, it was it the same? It wasn't, but it compared to what we have now, which is just impossible to even fathom and even put into words how far away that is from any sort of, fruitful discourse or any sort of normal arguments. Like it kind of, 2015, 2014, 2013, it kind of was, it wasn't the same, but it's because all those people cut their teeth in the forum days.
That's right.
So we all knew how to kind of have those discussions. And now you got these young bucks and they don't know what the hell they're doing.
And listen, I don't want to, it sucked. It just sucked in a different way.
Yeah, it was bad.
Sucked.
Yeah, I didn't like it.
It still sucked, and wish I had nothing to do with it ever. But it sucked in a completely different way than it sucks now. But it has always sucked. But yeah, that's Saturday night's main event. You can't bet on two of those matches. They have taken. I regret to inform you, they have taken Becky Lynch versus Sol Ruka off the board.
Oh no!
Oh no! You cannot wager on that. But look, if you want to plunk down some money on Logan Paul and Theory, is he still just Theory? Are they still doing just Theory?
No, I think he's Austin. Well, I don't know. Actually, you're right. I don't know.
I don't know either. You can get them at minus 1,000. Not exactly a value there. Not a value.
You can get Logan in Theory at minus 1,000.
They're big favorites. Biggest favorites on the card.
I think
minus
the
1,000.
Street's Profits, I believe they're teasing a breakup of the Street Profits, which will be the greatest heel turn of all time by Montez Ford or whoever. I don't know which one's going to turn heel on the other, but it'll be a fun few days of pretending that's like a monumental change in the landscape of world wrestling entertainment. But
did he get back in shape, Montez? Remember he got fat there.
He got real fat there for a while. Yeah, he was. Well, now we know. He was just trying to bond with his mother to be. It's like, hey, you're eating ice cream. I'll eat some ice cream too. I can't have you have all the fun. So,
well, they never asked him to come to work, so he's just, he's home eating bologna sandwiches, and he's not thinking about it. And they call him to work, and he's got himself a belly. Bologna.
Yeah, both those boys.
Right?
Bologna. Yuck.
Nasty.
Did you know both those guys got their ladies pregnant around the same time? So then you put the Street Profits to work, or else they do some work at home. So
absolutely, chapping. Yeah,
they're like, well, I have to go to freaking Fort Wayne, Indiana. Well, they do have to go to Fort Wayne this week. I didn't even realize that show was in Fort Wayne. It's in Fort Wayne, Indiana. Wow.
I
was just kind of come up with a shitty town.
Yeah.
Turns out this week's Saturday Night Main Event is in the Allen County War Memorial Coliseum in lovely Fort Wayne, Indiana.
Fort Wayne. So. Wow. That one of these days I'm going to say Sheboygan, and one of these promotions is going to be in Sheboygan.
Yeah, I don't know if Sheboygan has an arena. I've been to Sheboygan.
Sure they do.
No, I don't think they do.
I'm sure the Crusher worked there all the time.
Well, I bet he worked at like a high school though. I don't know where. Or there was probably a war memorial or something like that from Sheboygan that you could work.
Armory or something.
Yeah, there's a guard armory or something like that. And thank God Vince McMahon took wrestling out of it to move it to the Allen County War Memorial Coliseum in Fort Wayne, Indiana. So,
how about Terre Haute? Is there any?
I think there is actually. I do think there is actually a decent sized arena in a Terre Haute. Yeah, you gotta come to the Midwest sometime and enjoy these cities. They're all very far away from each other, though, so you really can't. And what are you going to do when you go to Terre Haute, Indiana? I don't know.
What do you do in Terre Haute?
I'll be honest. Never been.
Go to a high school basketball game where they're
probably
doing two-handed chess passes and shit.
Indiana, don't fuck around with Indiana high school hoops, man. That shit's great.
Yeah, okay.
They got big arenas. You know how like Texas is for football, where you go and it's like this is a 40,000 seat stadium. Why is it so big? And then it's full.
Right.
That's how it is in Indiana. You go to like these. I've been to a couple of these, and it's like this giant building, and I'm like, what the hell? This is a high school game. Need 15,000 seats, and it does. It actually does.
Well, we all saw Hoosiers. We all saw. We all saw Hoosiers. Guy fouls out. My team's on the floor. Played with 4 men. You can't play with 4 men.
You can't do that. It's ridiculous.
Come on. My team's on the floor. That's a technical foul. You got to have 5 men out there. I screamed that every time.
You're like, call it.
I'm like, no, Gene Hackman, your team is not on the floor.
Yeah, you have to get
a
another
fifth man
guy
out there.
You got to have another guy out there. Yeah,
You can't do this.
No, it's ridiculous.
Maybe you could do that in 1940 or wherever the fuck that movie was, but you definitely can't
It's
do
absurd.
that now.
No, you can't.
Have 4 guys on the floor. Could you imagine him coaching a team today?
Gene Hackman or the
From
guy
Hoosiers?
that coaches Hoosiers?
Yeah.
Yeah.
With his methods.
Yeah, his methods are
Practicing without a ball and all that shit. You know?
so it wasn't gentle parenting from Frats without the ball. That probably wouldn't work very well.
Yeah. Oh.
I appreciate that though. That's a good, teaches the kids how to
Yeah, he's got him running weaves around chairs and without a ball. Coach, when are we going to shoot? My team's going to have cardio. And he's smacking that newspaper into his hand. Yeah, I mean, I would like to see a coach try that today. Maybe it would work. Who knows? Sometimes you got to zig when everyone else is
like
zagging.
you want to slow it down, like 4 corners.
Right. Yeah, fundamentals.
Yeah.
Fundamentals. There's probably more fundamentals in today's basketball than ever, but different kind of fundamentals.
Yeah. No, different. The passes are a little more crisp in those days,
crisper. Well, I don't know. Listen,
yeah, they were pretty. Yeah,
they can fucking pass in the NBA, Rich Craich.
They can. Yeah, that's true.
They're throwing some fucking passes in the NBA.
Well, that's all. It is a funny thing if you go back and watch like '90s because everyone's like, "Oh, it's better." '90s basketball are better, and then like you watch the games, and it's just like everybody just misses all their shots. Like nobody can make a shot.
Right.
Today's game, everybody makes every shot every single time.
Yes.
Lazy entry passes to the post because for some reason the offense always had to start with like a stiff white guy getting the ball in the post so he could dribble 2 times and then pass it back out to, Clyde Drexler. It's like let's start the play with Clyde Drexler. Like, does Luke Longley need a touch here? I don't think he does. Like, let's just.
And also 8 of the 10 players packed into the paint.
Right.
No spacing whatsoever. It really jumps out at you. And unless like Dan Marley or Dale Ellis are in the game, they're out behind the 3-point line. And their defender is vaguely in the neighborhood.
Right.
And that's it. Everyone else is packed like right near the paint. No spacing. Yeah, it's eye-opening. It's eye-opening.
It's a different game. It's fun to watch though, but yeah, it is kind of, when you do go back and watch it, you're like, are we sure this is like the peak of basketball here? And the reason why is because they were good at telling stories, and they were good, like Bully Ray might say, the stories were there. Narratively, the game was it was a better game for sure. I'm reading this incredible book about the 1987 NBA season, and it's just like, man, everything that went into it, and all the the teams and the playoffs, and it's just like, yeah, you don't get that. Like that same team sticking together for years and years and years. And that's what most of the book is about. It's like about the Pistons, like trying like hell to beat the Celtics to get to the NBA finals. And they finally do. And then they meet the Lakers, and then the Lakers beat them. And it's like, fuck, we got to go back again. And they just, there'd be a little tweak here and there. You'd trade Adrian Dantley. You'd move this guy here and there. Norm Nixon would get traded from the Lakers or whatever. But for the most part, it was like the same goddamn team every single year going at it. And like, no, we'll just tweak a thing or two little here. We'll learn from our experience. Like, and that season, they do a great job of telling this. I got to find out the name of the book. I think it was When the Game Was War, I believe was the name of the book. But it's just, you read about the Bulls, and it's like they're still young as hell, but you could tell there's something happening here. And it's like, yeah, they're going to have to eat their shit against the Pistons for a couple years, and then they'll be able to move up. And the Pistons had to eat their shit from the Celtics for a couple years. Now they're ready to move up. And the Hawks, man, the Hawks are right there, but are they just going to keep eating shit from both these teams? And the answer was yes. They never got over that hurdle. And it's like the Lakers are just trying to piece things together every single year to just come back. And it's just, every team now, you just don't get that.
Well, listen. You don't build teams anymore. Now you tear it down every 2 years and sign James Harden for some reason. That's what you do in the NBA now. That's how you do it.
Right.
You bring in Kevin Durant or James Harden, one of those two guys.
Right.
And
then the team gets destroyed, and then you trade them, and then you got to kind of wallow away.
And they get bored and decide they want to leave, and you have to scrap and restart again. Yes. But that's really every sport. I mean, teardowns are much faster now. Nobody sticks. How long did Jay Bell play for the Pirates? I feel like Jay Bell was on the Pirates for 75 years, and they would win 72 games every year with the same core, and it's just So in some ways it's, but in other ways, I think, teams are a little more impatient too on the other end when they're kind of close. Instead of adding or tweaking, it's tear it down. I guess the NBA is getting a little better with that. There was a good 10-year stretch there where it was just, this didn't work for 3/4 of a season. We've got to restart. Press to restart. Like, it felt like every team was just ripping it apart.
Yeah, they're starting to find out that
there's more stability now.
Yeah, that actually goes a long way in like keeping, teams improve a little bit better if they just kind of keep and there's a certain, you want to avoid like the NBA hell of like the 8th seed. You don't want to be the 8th seed or whatever, but you don't need to go to 0. You don't need to have like terrible losing culture for years and years and years and years, and then like just say, all right, well, if we just draft, because that was kind of the plan for a lot of teams, and the Sixers were like one of the big ones of that, and honestly, OKC kind of is as well, but they've obviously turned things around in a big way, and now we're going to run the league for a couple of years. But it's stabilized a little bit. It definitely has. There was a period there where it got real wild. There was a
period there where just everyone was tearing it down every, with the exception of like, the Cavs and the Warriors, who were in the finals against each other every year. Mm-hmm. Everybody else was tearing it down. I don't watch much NBA anymore. I did turn on that Spurs Thunder game starting with the fourth quarter the other night.
Yeah.
And my one takeaway was, how have the Spurs lost a single game all year with that fucking alien on their team? That was my only
something else, yeah.
I don't know how you would ever lose a game with that guy. If you lose a single game with that guy on your team, there's a massive flaw going on with the rest of your roster or your coaching. I know their point guard hasn't played in that series yet. I understand that. And they got I could catch up quick because they got Castle playing out of position. They don't have a point guard.
Right, he's playing point guard and he's not very good at it. He turns the ball over constantly.
He's a turnover machine.
Every time on the court, he's just tossing it around. Yeah,
I haven't watched a Spurs game since like last year, and I watched one quarter and then 2 overtimes, and I've got it complete. See, listen, that's my.
Ball. I know ball.
Yeah. I know ball. I'm like, this guy's a terrible point. They got to get their point guard back because this guy stinks, and otherwise, I don't know how they ever lose a game. Wemby had 43 in that game, and when I saw his line, I was like, that's it? This went 2 overtimes. How did he not have 73? They couldn't do anything to stop this man. I mean, he gathers at the 3-point line and lays the ball up or dunks. This guy is not normal.
Yeah, that second overtime he did, he pump faked. The guy went up, and he took 2 steps and dunked from the 3-point line.
Yeah.
It's like, what do you do?
Like, no exaggeration. Like, he's gathering at the 3-point line, and he's dunking the ball. I don't understand. He's making Chet look like Chet is like 7'2".
He's got Chet in a fucking spin cycle. Yeah,
no fucking chance. They can't. Again, I have watched no NBA this year. Okay, Oklahoma City. Who's the other big geek? Hartenstein. What's his name?
Yes, Hartenstein. Yeah.
They can't even put him on the floor because Wemby just will eat him alive.
So they had a new. Did you watch the most recent game?
No, I only watched the double overtime.
So they have their new strategy in the game yesterday was that Hartenstein is just going to push Wemby the whole time. And just dare the refs to call it. And the refs aren't going to call that because he'd have to he'd fall out in 2 minutes. So he's just like has his hands on Wemby the entire time. And that's the idea is like, I'm going to wear him out by just being stronger than him because Chet's not stronger than him and Chet's not better than him. So he's just destroying Chet. So they were like, Chet, you can't ball with this guy. So they had Hartenstein out there, and Hartenstein, the strategy was just like push this and just shove him out of the way as much as possible. Now, with that said, Wemby still did pretty well. And he does this thing now where he takes a shot, and if he misses it, he tips it back in with the other arm. Which is like if you haven't seen it, it's hard to describe.
Yeah.
But nobody else can do that because nobody else is that tall or that close to the rim. But he'll lay it up with his right hand, and if it misses, he just tips it back in with his left. And it's like, that's insane. That's so stupid. You shouldn't be able to do that.
I feel like they got to get him in foul trouble or something.
He's too good.
But that's like their only hope is to get this guy in foul trouble. But anyway, I watched 3 quarters of NBA basketball.
Good takes. Yeah, good.
And I have lots of takes. Despite that, I refuse to watch the Eastern Conference Finals. I think those are on right now.
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
I'm not watching the fucking Knicks. Are you kidding me? I wouldn't watch the Knicks if you pry my eyes open. Like, no, there's not a fucking chance.
Every year, my only goal is Bulls, Mavericks, and anybody but the Knicks every year.
Yeah. Well,
And more times than not, I've won that. It's every year since 1973. Every year of my adult life.
Were you alive in 1972?
I was not alive, not even close to alive. So
all right, well then you've won that wager every year then, betting against the Knicks, rooting for anyone but the Knicks, unless you were watching Dollar Bill Bradley and Walt Clyde Frazier.
I was not.
Okay, well then there you go, Dave DeBuscher.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Willis
I
Reed.
can name more Knicks on that team than this year's team.
Knicks.
I can. I know Brunson.
You're four deep already on the 73 team, and
I
you're
could probably give you 8 of those guys. I know Brunson. Apparently, there's somebody named OG. I don't know who that is.
OG Anunoby. OG Anunoby.
Okay, so do I get half a point?
I'll
for
give you that. I'll
I
give you that. That's fine.
The guy they got from the Wolves, the big man, is he still there?
He is. Carl Anthony Towns. Cat, as the kids call him.
The guy that plays like a bull in a china shop. He just runs.
He just falls down and sucks. Yeah.
I have never seen a player acquire more offensive fouls in my life than Carl Anthony Towns. He
falls over himself forward
just
so many times. It's
just
unbelievable.
Incredible how uncoordinated this guy is, and he's 300 pounds, and he just mauls through and just gets called for offensive fouls constantly. And then I don't know, is Kenny Skywalker?
Kenny Skywalker, unfortunately, no longer a part of the Knicks. No.
Okay, Charles Oakley. Charles Oakley.
I don't think he's there. Nah.
Yeah, well, I think I'm out of Knicks.
Yeah, Charles Smith is no longer on the team. He has left, so
he's still getting his layups blocked by random bulls.
Horace Grant, and Scottie Pippen, man. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Mace,
all right.
Mace ain't there anymore. He's long
Anthony
gone.
Mason, didn't he die?
He did die. Anthony Mason did pass away.
Heart attack or something, right?
Yeah. A couple years ago.
Yeah. No Charlie Ward.
Wow.
No
11
Charlie
years
Ward.
ago.
No, yeah.
Oh, Charlie Ward was a tough one for me because I grew up and I was a huge Florida State football fan because of Charlie Ward. I was like a little kid and I was like, that guy's incredible because I was like, I didn't know anything about being a quarterback and I was like, well, that guy's really good because he's running all over the place and nobody can tackle him. And then he got drafted by the Knicks and I was like, fuck, what do I do with this? And then I hated him. And it was so fun because he was like the reason I became a Florida State football fan. I still kind of am today, not too much, but then it was just like, damn. Charlie Ward on the Knicks? Yuck.
If you lived where I lived during that time, you couldn't believe the WFAN phone lines when it was Charlie Ward or Chris Childs. Who are we going to go with at point guard?
Oh, you got to go Childs, I think. I like Charlie Ward, but Chris Childs got more offense, right?
Hot debates on the phone lines to Mike and the Mad Dog in those days and, Joe Beningo. But, I refuse to watch the Knicks. That's why I don't know anybody on the team. Do they have a scrappy white guy like the balding dude on OKC, Caruso?
Alex Caruso, your boy, your guy,
Knicks.
Alex Caruso.
Alex Caruso has been in my vehicle. Yes. Do they have a scrappy white guy, the Knicks, like a Caruso, or who's the guy that looks like the Texas senator? Is he still on the Suns? The guy that everybody hated on Duke.
Grayson Allen.
Is Grayson Allen still on the Suns?
I think he is. I think he is. I'm trying to think. The Knicks have Tyler Kolek, but I don't know if he quite counts.
Does he get minutes?
A little bit. You know who they have? They have Jose Alvarado, who's kind of an annoying white guy, but he's a Puerto Rican guy.
He's count.
It's got to be an annoying white guy. Okay.
The most punchable face in the NBA outside of Grayson Allen, who is going to hold that title until he retires, is the Celtic Pritchard.
Oh, Peyton
I cannot
Pritchard.
stand.
Oh God, yeah.
How is he even good? I don't even
really
understand how he's good.
He's really good.
Like it makes no sense that he's good. Like
he's like my height. He looks like me. He plays like me, and he's really good for some. I don't understand either.
See, I think he's fake good though. I still don't buy it. I don't know. He's a bench player 2 years ago.
No, he was good this year. He was really good this year, actually.
I know he was. Listen, I don't know how he's good. I think it's fake good. You get a guy every few years that's fake good. You know what I'm saying? And then it's like they're not good anymore. And you're like, how was that guy good for 3 years?
There was a couple years where the Knicks had Dante DiVincenzo, who was exactly what you're talking about right there. Exactly.
Good.
Well, and like the scrappy, annoying white guy that every good NBA team needs one of those guys.
Yeah, I don't know if you need one, but they usually have one. But they usually have one.
I appreciate it. As a scrappy white guy myself, I appreciate representation matters, Joe. And it's really nice
That's
that
true. That's a good point.
You'd be like, hey, that guy looks like me, kind of, you know.
They're usually Italian, so I don't know why I'm not backing these guys up.
Yeah, Dante DiVincenzo should be your guy.
They're usually Italian and went to Villanova, so, I don't... This is a wrestling podcast.
It is. It is a wrestling podcast.
Sometimes I wish it wasn't, but we got a packed week, and we're talking about fucking my lack of NBA knowledge, and there's so much to get to on this show. It is a packed show.
It is a packed show. So yeah, we are going to preview coming up very soon here. Double or Nothing, AEW Double or Nothing 2026, coming up this Sunday. We are also going to be doing Instant Reaction Live for that show, available exclusively on the $10 tier at flagshippatreon.com. So that'll be Sunday night when the show is over, whenever that may be. Roughly 10, 11 p.m. Central. I don't know when these things end anymore. They seem to go longer and longer, 10:30 p.m., somewhere in that range. Whenever the show ends, whenever the pay-per-view ends, we'll be going live on the $10 tier, flagshippatreon.com. But again, we'll do a preview of that later in the show. We'll review ROH's Supercard of Honor 2026. We'll recap and review the All Japan Champion Carnival 2026 finals, including your champion, Hideki Suzuki, winning the whole thing. A couple other topics as well. Brock Lesnar's return. The retirement at WrestleMania was a short-lived retirement because he is back. Mick Foley is joining AEW in a pre-show role. Baron Corbin is potentially returning to WWE. Enzo, Big Cass, possibly on their way as well, and a bunch of other things that we'll talk about throughout the show. But we do want to start real quick here with the life and career of Phil Hickerson. So I think we should get this out of the way now so we don't forget about this. But kind of a cruel twist of fate here because we just talked about this guy a couple of weeks ago because when Dennis Condre passed away, we had a little bit of a discussion about Phil Hickerson because Phil Hickerson, a former tag team partner of Dennis Condre. We did a little bit of a PY Chewy discussion for a little bit as well. And it turns out a couple weeks later at age 79, Phil Hickerson passes away. So any thoughts on Phil Hickerson? I don't know if we're going to do a full-on bio for him, but at least want to talk about his life and career a little bit here.
I mean, I know a lot about Phil Hickerson. If you want to talk about Phil Hickerson,
let's do it. I mean, I watched a lot today. I went and watched. I mean, I watched a lot for the Dennis Condre thing, and then I watched a little bit more today. I don't have a ton of big picture stuff on him, but we may as well give him his flowers.
Pretty straightforward career. First of all, I was stunned that he was 79 because I thought he always looked 50. I was like 79. How the fuck is he only 79?
Yeah, what was he in 1981? I was watching some 1981, 83 Memphis, and he looks 47 in all of those videos. So
look, he was a main eventer 50 years ago because 1976 he was already main eventing with the Bicentennial Kings and everything. He was a main eventer pretty much his whole career, but
yeah.
That's 50 years ago, so that would have made him what, 29?
Yeah, 29, 30 around that time. Yeah, 29, 30.
And he just always looked older. By the time he was doing the PY Chuhai thing at the end of his career in Dallas, he looked like a guy that could have been 60. But that's that thing in the 70s and 80s. Everybody looked older and they didn't take care of themselves as well. Plus, he was always just a big guy. He was just a big fat guy from Jackson, Tennessee. I don't think he really cared how he looked. So he's one of those guys just always looked older, and I was surprised that he was only 79. But again, he has a pretty straightforward career. I mean, the other interesting thing about Phil Hickerson is he spent his entire career in and around Tennessee. Mm-hmm. He never left. He wasn't one of these guys who, would go to Portland for a year and then go to the Carolinas and then go to all these different territories. He didn't do that. He just stuck in and around the Tennessee area for the different territories there. When he broke in, they had him teaming with Al Green. That was his first kind of main event run when he was not the WCW jobber,
not the dog
Al
or Mr. Dog or whatever the fuck, yeah, or big Dog or whatever the fuck Al Green. Not that. This Al Green has a different an extra E on the end of his name. Different Al Green.
Al Green with an E, the Tennessee Al Green that was probably born in 1915 or whatever. Because Al Green by that time was probably pushing 50, if not 50 years old. By the time he was teaming with Phil Hickerson in the mid-70s. Al Green was born in 1928. So Al Green was 50 in 1978. Yeah, so he was pushing 50. He was finishing up when he was teaming with Hickerson in 74. And then from there, like you mentioned, he formed the tag team with the young Dennis Condre. And as we inched closer to 76 with the Bicentennial, they became the Bicentennial Kings. And they were a main event act for all three of the territories at the time, because in 77, of course, was the split between Goulas and Jarrett. So you had the two Tennessee territories there, plus you had Southeastern with the Fullers. So what Hickerson and Condre would do is they worked all three of those. They would bounce from those three. They would bounce from Jarrett to Goulas to the Fullers every 6 months or so to keep themselves fresh. And they would always work on top wherever they landed. So if you look at like the title records, for example, they held all those different versions of those tag team titles in the Tennessee area, like probably dozens of times collectively, and who knows how many are lost to history with all the wacky title changes they would do on a week in, week out basis, sometimes city specific and all of that, because they were always working on top and they kept themselves fresh by bouncing between those three territories. And I think we talked a little bit about this when we talked about Dennis Condre. What was convenient about that is like you didn't even have to move. Like you could just live in Tennessee and then go work for Goulas, go work for Jarrett, go work for the Fullers in Southeastern, and you could still have like a semi-reasonable drive home and sleep in your own bed a lot of the time, and you wouldn't even have to. So Hickerson, I mean, I don't know this, but there's a good chance he never even moved in his entire career.
No, honestly, I don't even know if he moved it his entire life, because he was born. I'm sure he moved into a different house, but he was born in Jackson, Tennessee, and he died in Jackson, Tennessee. Like, how often do you die in the town you were born in? He did. Phil Hickerson did. Jackson, Tennessee was where he born. Jackson, Tennessee is where he died.
Yeah, and really outside of going down to Dallas in '89 with the PY Chuhai gimmick, where he was managed by Tojo Yamamoto, who he was always connected to in some way throughout his career, another longtime Memphis guy. And then they were doing like the fake Japanese gimmick where Yamamoto was his manager and he would put on the slanted eye face paint. Don't kill the messenger. Right. Different time. This is, it was a heel though, if that makes anybody feel any better. But, and then he had that feud with Eric Embry, obviously down in Dallas. But the only reason that he took that gimmick down to Dallas was because that's when Memphis bought out Dallas and they were doing the USWA thing.
Right.
Where they were trying to, so if not for that, he probably never would have even went to Dallas at that point. But even then he was working on top and at the late stages of his career doing this, over the top gimmicky deal as the fake Japanese guy. And for the standards of a dying territory in 1989, the Eric Embry PY Chuhai feud drew by the standards of the era and for what, because all the territories were dying.
Yeah, and that one particularly on Death's Door, we're talking mid 1989. I mean, they are on. But
that was a legitimate hot feud in wrestling that was making the magazines and all of that at that time. And then from there, his career just trickled down because he was, probably, I guess, not as old as we thought, because I guess in 92, if he would have been 40, it would have been not even 50 by 92. But yeah, anyway, he was teaming with Al Green early on, and Al Green, like I said, was on the way out. He formed a team with Condre, and the Bicentennial Kings, like we talked about with Condre, great all-time, pantheon tag team worker, but everybody thinks of the different incarnations of the Midnight Express that he worked with, whether it was the original Midnight Express or working with Bobby Eaton or working with Randy Rose. But it's like you forget that the Hickerson Condre team was a great team for about a half a decade in that part of the country, and always working on top, a main event act until really Hickerson bouncing between those three territories until Hickerson had that injury, which kept him out of wrestling for 3 or 4 years. And then he comes back. And by the time he comes back in 84, 85, Goulas is out of business and he's, working for, what people think of the Memphis territory was the CWA.
Yeah, CWA. Yeah.
But Condre had moved on. The Midnight Express was a thing by then, the Cornette version of the Midnight Express. So, that is like almost the second act of Hickerson's career, but he stays in Memphis the whole time. And, he has, he does stuff with Jerry Lawler. He works with all the top guys. He was always a top guy. And I think that because there's not a ton of footage of him out there. I mean, go try to find Phil Hickerson, Dennis Condre footage. It's scant. It's very hard to find those guys working as a team. In fact, the last couple days as I've been nosing around, I legitimately think I found more Phil Hickerson, Al Green footage than Phil Hickerson, Dennis Condre footage, which is strange and doesn't make sense because it was several years before then. There's obviously not a lot of Southeastern out there that's, well known. I know Joe Dombrowski has a lot of full episodes of Southeastern from that era. Well, a lot compared to other, what else is out there. But other than that, that's always been a territory where the footage is scarce. Memphis, there's plenty of footage out there. A lot of it's not great. But I was surprised at how much Al Green and Hickerson I found in comparison to Hickerson and Condre. And Hickerson and Condre is the stuff I really want to find. No disrespect to 50-year-old Al Green. I want to watch Dennis Condre and Phil Hickerson. I want to watch 24-year-old Dennis Condre.
Yeah, right.
When, that guy was great when he was 34. I'd love to watch more of him when he was 24. But yeah, they were a great tag team that kind of gets forgotten and lost to history because there's just not a lot of footage of them. And they didn't stay put in the one place. They bounced between the three different territories. And then, of course, Dennis Condre went on to much bigger things with the Midnight Express later. So as far as the PY Chuhai thing, again, that was 89. That's the tail end of Hickerson's career. And they buy the Dallas territory and they do the big feud with Eric Embry and he's the big heel. And that's kind of like his last hurrah as a true meaningful top guy. He stuck around Memphis after that and did stuff as an older wrestler. But what I didn't know and what I think a lot of people are discovering now about Phil Hickerson is he had a whole second career as a radio DJ. Who the fuck knew? I mean, so he did that in the second half of his life and apparently was successful at it at a local level and passes away at the age of 79 a couple days ago.
A lot of... If you go on YouTube and you look up Phil Hickerson, you're going to find a lot more promos, I would say, than matches. And there's a couple matches up there. It's not like you're not going to find any matches, but you're going to get a lot more of the promos. And that's kind of what I watched a lot of today and over the last couple days is Phil Hickerson promos. And they're really good. I mean, they're really good for their time and they're really good for any era. And he's got the, everyman sort of style to him, but he was really good at the heel promos. He was really good at the face promos as well. And he did both in Memphis, like most guys did, depending on if you were teaming with Jerry Lawler or feuding with Jerry Lawler. It was depending on if you were a heel or a face pretty much the entire time. And yeah, there's points where he's, ragging on Jerry Lawler. And then there's points where he's teaming with Jerry Lawler and stuff. And he's, ragging on the other guys. But, there's a famous, couple of famous ones that I listened to today, which is interesting because the thing that's really cool about Phil Hickerson is, like you said, he never really left. He didn't go a lot of other places. He was pretty much just in Tennessee forever. And because of that, like you see him in all these different eras of Memphis. So if you watch Phil Hickerson, if you search Phil Hickerson up on YouTube, you'll find stuff of him from the early 80s. And you find stuff of him in the like 83, 84, 85, back when he comes back from injury or whatever. And then you can, see as Memphis starts to change a little bit, he's still there. And then there's promos where he's in a promo battle with the Blade Runners, Ultimate Warrior and Sting, future Ultimate Warrior and future Sting or whatever. And that's a very famous one because Ultimate Warrior, who's cutting a very good promo for the Ultimate Warrior for Jim Hellwig. It's a very lucid Jim Hellwig promo. And he's basically talking about how we go to the gym, look at us, and that Phil Hickerson guy, he never goes to the gym. He's a big old fat ass or whatever. And the crowd cheers, interestingly. And then Phil Hickerson comes out, and then famously he goes, well, I don't go to the gym, but all you do is pull your pants down and put that needle in your butt or whatever.
Yeah.
And Lance Russell's like, come on, Phil. Phil, that's not what we're doing here, Phil. That's not, we don't know. We don't know what they do. It's just like, it's obvious. I mean, Jesus Christ, look at Jim Hellwig in, whatever, 1987 or whatever, but
especially then.
Yeah, oh my God.
84, that'd be like 84.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, it was like 84, 85. And Jesus Christ, he's a house. He's just so fucking massive. But it's actually kind of interesting because Jim Hellwig cuts like a very good, very normal promo. He's like, hey, Lance, yeah. So it's just like, wow, that's Jim Hellwig. Okay. And then a couple years after that, there's a promo with him and Scott Steiner, a very young Scott Steiner, and that is like the worst promo you will ever hear. I mean, Scott can't say a word. He's tripping over himself. He's so nervous. He can't even say Lance Russell's name right. He can't even say the name of the title right. He's just muttering to himself and just stammering all over himself. And it's just so funny. And we always talk about this, that you don't get better at promos unless you talk. You got to talk to get better at promos. You know what I mean? Like you can't just, some guys are just born with it and they have it right away, but a lot of guys have to work their asses off to become, decent promos. And I just recalled, after, watching that Scott Steiner, Phil Hickerson promo, and it's like, Scott Steiner's putting $22,000 on the line or something like that to have Hickerson, challenge him for the title or whatever. But it's interesting to see how horrible Scott Steiner was at cutting promos. And it's like, well, yeah, the guy's like 20 years old at this point, 22, 23 years old. He's very, very young. And of course, it would take many, many more years until Scott Steiner would kind of find himself. But, we always say you can't find yourself as a promo unless you talk. So sometimes you got to go out there and you got to cut promos, and they're not always going to be great. You just got to keep working and keep working and keep working and eventually get a little bit better. But Hickerson's promos, though, really to me were the standouts. His in-ring work is I don't think anybody ever really did anybody really highly regard his work? It was more the promos.
Yeah, they did actually. He for a big guy, because he looked like a truck driver. He just was a big fat balding guy with a beard, and you just don't have pro wrestlers that look like him anymore because Vince McMahon changed the way that the public perceives the way a pro wrestler should look, right? And he just. I don't know who would be a modern equivalent to his look. I guess it would be what was the ROH tag team with in Dying Day Sinclair?
The frickin' I know who you're talking about. What was that dude's name? Sean Cedor's in the chat. He'll know exactly who we're talking about.
The something brawler. What the fuck was that guy's name?
The beer brawler, the beer bruiser, something like that. I forget what the fuck.
Beer City Bruiser. I
think it was Beer. Was it Beer City Bruiser? Let's go with that. It's people are screaming at their and trust me, I know I'm screaming at it myself too. That we can't.
The Beer City Bruiser, I think, was his name. Yeah, the Beer City Bruiser, because he was. The Beer City Bruiser was actually. I have to look this up now. In another life, he was. Dinty Moore. Remember Dinty Moore from the Aftermags? That might be a little before your time.
That's a little before my time, I think.
He was a PWI 500 guy that would always be ranked number 489 because he had the funny name. And then he became the Beer City Bruiser, later on, and he teamed with Brian Milanes, right? The Bouncers. The Bouncers was the name of that tag team.
Milana, yeah, okay, yeah.
But outside of those guys and maybe JD Drake, you don't have guys that look like Phil Hickerson anymore. It's an aesthetic national television business. But no, he was well regarded as a worker, and I know that the footage is scant, but you will find him doing highly athletic things for his era you will go, holy shit, did he just do that? He, almost in a Sergeant Slaughter way with the wild bumps he would take and things like that. He was more athletic than I think people would give him credit for just looking at him. And as a worker, of course, I mean, you watch some of these tags, if you could find the stuff with Condre. I mean, it's that peak territory crispness as a worker that he had that a lot of people don't have today. So I think he was considered a good worker for his time. He comes across okay on the tape that you can find. But he definitely had a look that would have a hard time getting over today. We just don't have guys like that anymore. But it worked for Tennessee in 1977, because I'm sure a lot of the people a lot of the wrestlers looked like that then.
Yeah.
Especially in a lot of these territories.
Well, you and I talked about that with Dennis Condre, and I talked about it a lot during Tour of the Territories. That's what a tough guy in the early 1980s looked like. The tough guy wasn't Jim Hellwig with his giant steroids wasn't what a tough guy looked like. A tough guy looked like Phil Hickerson, a guy with a trucker hat and big forearms, a big chest, and that's what you kind of looked like. Bob
Big
Sweetan is like the tough guy. That's what tough guys looked like at that time. It was just like your uncle, your really tough uncle that was in the war. Like that's who the tough guys of the era were. You look at Mid-South, and Mid-South isn't filled with a bunch of Adonises and guys with big giant muscles and abs or whatever. It was just a bunch of dudes with a gut, a big old barrel chest. Like they might work out with they might bench press, and that's about it. Like they're not doing any cardio. They're not, they're not doing a well-balanced, workout. They might, but mostly they're getting strong, working on their car or working around the house or whatever. That's kind of the idea. But they're just born strong. It's just like one of those guys that's just naturally born strong or whatever. That's what the look was. And Vince McMahon just completely transforms it with Hulk Hogan and a couple other guys in the mid-'80s, and then turns it into, okay, unless you have abs and cut muscles, you're not a tough guy. And it's like, no, tough guys in 1983 were Bob Sweetan and Phil Hickerson. That's what it looked like is
in Jackson, Tennessee, for sure.
Yeah,
so
right.
So you definitely, but he'd come to the ring in the duster and the cowboy hat and everything, and it's not, he looked tough, but you just, if you're a modern fan who doesn't watch a lot of wrestling from that era, it might be a little striking you to see this guy with this gigantic beer belly. But yeah, he can move better than he looks. It's just there's just not a ton of footage from his prime out there. There's plenty from after the injury when he comes back in the mid-'80s. You can find tons of late career Phil Hickerson. But it's the stuff with Condre that's harder to come by. On YouTube specifically, there's a lot of people who upload Memphis stuff that's unlabeled. And sometimes you got to dig a little deeper. They won't have match listings, or it'll just, there's a lot of videos on YouTube that just say Memphis Wrestling 1978, and you just you don't know what you're going to get when you click
video.
Play.
Yeah, it's an hour and 42 minutes, and you just got to watch it all and see what it's all going on.
Sometimes it's 18 minutes, and it's just clips of two matches, but there's nothing in the description, and it's just all right, let me give this a go and see what's on it. And a lot of times you run into some gems, because sometimes it'll be footage from Mid-South Coliseum. Sometimes it'll be footage from the TV. The other thing you have to remember is at various points in the 70s, aside from the fact that you had the split, you also had studio shows in a lot of the different cities. You didn't just have the Memphis show that everybody's familiar with. You had studio shows in some of the other cities too. And some of that shit is still floating around out there randomly, so there's all kinds of, there's just all kinds of weird shit out there that that on particularly on YouTube that a lot of times is unlabeled or labeled in an odd way, and it's sometimes it's fun to just go through that stuff, especially when you're preparing for something like this where you're going to talk about a guy, and you're like, oh, I don't know, this one might hit. It says Memphis Wrestling 1976. Let me give it a shot and see what's on it. And you're like, oh, well, there you go. There's 4 minutes of a Bicentennial Kings match that I can watch here.
So that's Phil Hickerson, I think. And then P.Y. Chuai, we talked about that a little bit already. I think we're
You are fascinated with the P.Y. Chuhai.
I really am. I really am. And what's interesting about that is if you go and watch those matches, and there's a lot of them with Eric Embry or whatever that are out there, he's in way better shape as P.Y. Chuhai than he was earlier, and he's still pretty fat, but you see there's a noticeable difference in his weight. The guy clearly, by that point in his career had really tried to drop a couple pounds, and it's interesting to see as he sort of evolves in this is new career and this new gimmick or whatever, and it's weird. It's definitely strange, but I watched a lot of the USWA stuff. Like you said, it's dying days USWA, but it was successful. I mean, for relative, so is it as successful as 1983 World Class? Of course not, but for 1989, for that era, it was definitely popping the territory is probably not the right word, but it was keeping the territory afloat. It was helping, get things going in the territory, helping draw some people to the building at least for a little bit there. But I always enjoyed those matches.
I guess don't forget his random All Japan tag league tour.
Yeah,
with Crusher Blackwell.
Yeah, him and Jerry Blackwell. Yeah. My God, what did that look like?
Now, allegedly, some of this is on tape. I wasn't able to really find any. But they finished last place in the tournament, and I don't know if Blackwell went back, but Hickerson definitely never went back. But and they would win non-tournament matches against young boys. That was it. If you look at the tour and you look at the records, they lost every tournament match. Well, they had a double count out with Dick Slater and Tommy Rich, but they lost every other tournament match. But they did beat some of the young boys on some of the non-tournament nights, and that was pretty much all they got. Other than that, they would lose every night on the tour. And Hickerson wasn't invited back at any point. Maybe he didn't want to go back. Who knows? Let me check Jerry Blackwell and see if he ever went back to Japan. I guess he did. Yeah, he went back in. He had several. Yeah, every few years, All Japan would bring him in, I guess. So, but Hickerson never. That was the last time Blackwell ever went, 88. So that was his last Japan tour too. But yeah, so outside of that and that, little run in Dallas, the guy never left Tennessee.
No.
And was always a headliner and presumably was making decent money. And so a very unique career from that standpoint, to be able to just, in that era, from like 74 to 90, and never leaving, really never leaving the state and being a headliner the whole time. It's unique.
Yeah, and it says something for a guy to, have that staying power because
stay over.
And stay over, I think, is the biggest thing, because in that era it was like the fans were used to guys coming and going. Like, very rarely, yes, you had your Jerry Lawlers or whatever, but yeah, for the most part, guys would come and go. They would come and go, and they would come and go. Your tippy top guys might stay around, but for the most part, guys are going to come and go, and everybody underneath is going to completely, move every couple of years, and every 6 months maybe even you'll get guys moving. And he just stayed. He just fucking stayed around forever and ever and ever. And it's kind of fascinating that he was able to do that and still be an important part of the territory and still, like you said, be over. I think says something about him as well. So looking at some of these old World Tag Leagues, I recall I was doing a WrestleMania randomizer this year for the Patreon, and I was talking about Andre the Giant in 1991 because he had that match with Haku. Or was that, maybe that was WrestleMania 6, the WrestleMania 6 match with Haku against Demolition. And I remember looking that he was in the 91 Real World Tag League. Him and Giant Baba in 1991. My God, they got 20 points. I haven't seen any of that stuff, but man, that's got to be pretty rough.
It's brutal.
Because Andre cannot, he literally needs the ropes to stand. He can't stand without holding the ropes.
Yeah, it's as bad as you think it is in your mind. And this actually ties into what we did at the very top of the show. But there's actually people who think Andre was good on that tour and in that era, because you can probably guess who the people are, but they, it's amazing how he holds on to the rope and what he manages to do with the negative space.
As he's standing.
Yeah, as he can barely hold himself up on the ropes.
Okay, yeah, because I was watching the match with him and Haku versus Demolition, and that's a year prior, and he cannot move at all. I mean, he is completely immobile.
It's even worse at that point. It's really fucking brutal, the stuff at the end he does with All Japan. It's some of the worst pro wrestling you'll ever see in your life, and it's sad. It's sad to watch, because this is a guy who, all I can think about watching him barely able to hold himself up on the ropes in those matches is the flights.
Yeah.
Is the flights. How the fuck did he fly back and forth in the condition that he was in, the weight he was carrying? I mean, yeah, it's hard. It's honestly hard to watch. Honestly, the more I think about it, the more I'm insulted that people put it over that it was good. It's insulting to me that, because it's sad, really. It's sad, and he should have never been in a position. Now, maybe he wanted to do it because he didn't know anything else, and he knew he was dying, and he wanted to be around the boys. I don't know. I don't think Andre was hurting for money at the end. I never heard anything like that. Didn't he own that giant ranch in North Carolina?
Yeah. That's where he died.
You would think, I don't think he was.
Or
he
didn't die there, but that's where he's. There's like a memorial there. Is he buried? He might be. He's not buried there. He's buried in France, I believe. But there's a memorial.
I don't know.
At his ranch.
But so maybe it's just a matter of he just wanted to do what he liked to do and be around the people he liked to be around until the end. But I find that stuff to be hard to watch and sad.
Yeah, I've never checked it out, and I don't think I really want to. Although the idea of watching Sunny Beach and Johnny Ace versus Andre the Giant and Giant Baba does sound slightly interesting to me. But
yeah, I mean, it's in a perverse way. It's some of the worst shit you'll ever see.
Yeah, it sounds absolutely terrible. But there you go. That's Phil Hickerson. We should note as well before we get into the other topics of the day that there was another death that actually has a relation to professional wrestling, as a former WWE 24/7 champion, Kyle Busch, NASCAR racing legend Kyle Busch, tragically passed away, 41 years old. For Kyle Busch, just didn't feel good, went to the hospital, and then the news came out a couple hours later that he was dead. So I don't know what the hell happened. We haven't gotten anything yet. Guy just raced and won a race like 6 days ago. Wasn't feeling good a couple weeks ago, and then he was feeling fine last week, and then raced, and now he's dead. But a former 24/7 champion at one point. I don't know who I don't remember all the 24/7 champion. Let's see who he defeated. Probably Akira Tozawa, right? I feel like in my head it was always just Akira Tozawa running around. Yeah, I think so. Let's see. Kyle Busch when he...
I don't remember any of this anyway, but...
All right. Kyle Busch, he technically beat R-Truth for it. December 2nd, 2019. Here's the note from Wikipedia. Took place at ringside with Michael Waltrip as a special guest referee. Cross-promotion with NASCAR on NBC as part of the Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series year-end award ceremony in Nashville, commemorating the 2019 NASCAR season that aired on NBC Sports Network 3 days later. Okay. Anyway, so there you go. One-time champion. He lost it later that night to R-Truth again. So, and then Akira Tozawa beat R-Truth for it, but technically it was R-Truth that won it from him. So there you go. He's a big one. He's like he might be top 10 all time in terms of NASCAR drivers. Very successful, a lot of wins. A lot of disciplines as well.
He just got sick and died. I mean,
nobody's quite sure. Yeah, we don't know just yet. Like I said, like 2 weeks ago, he was doing a race and didn't feel very well, and got medical attention, and then everything seemed fine. And then he raced last week, won a truck race, and then 6 days later, or whatever, he's dead. So 41 years old. So it really puts it all into perspective a little bit. I'm not that much younger than Kyle Busch. So yeah. Anyway, just wanted to say that real quick, and then let's do you want to hit some other news before we get into the previews and reviews?
All right,
let's do that. Okay. Baron Corbin. I keep seeing Baron Corbin headlines.
Why is Baron Corbin all over the news cycle?
I don't know.
Why for the last 3 or 4 days?
I don't know.
Have various news sites been tracking with like tons of energy every step of this Baron Corbin WWE negotiation? They're treating this like some major free agent is on the cusp of signing with this company, and we're getting like hourly Baron Corbin updates. What's going on, Rich? Why is this happening?
I don't know. It's what's happening is Baron Corbin is talking to people, right? Like that's what's happening, right? Baron Corbin's just in DMs telling people.
Who gives a fuck about Baron Corbin?
I agree.
He's gonna sign with WWE. He's gonna show up and everyone's gonna go crazy, and then he's gonna promptly be moved to the mid card, never to be seen again, and he's gonna get cut in a year, and we're wasting all of this time and energy. I mean, seriously,
Baron fucking Corbin.
Baron Corbin, I can't believe the attention this is getting. Baron Corbin re-signing with WWE is a fucking footnote. This is being treated like it's some major story. I'm seeing it everywhere. Rich, it's Baron Corbin.
I saw somebody point out that Baron Corbin probably essentially took the 50. You know how they were giving the 50% pay cuts, and people,
Yeah.
He probably is going to get a 50%. Like they fired him, and then they're just going to rehire him probably at 50% of what he was being paid before, and he will gladly take it because he doesn't want to do the indies. We know that. And it's like, all right, great. Yeah, let's bring in Baron Corbin. And there's like, blow by blow stuff. The reason why is Baron Corbin is probably talking to people. And the other rumor is that he's going to do something with Danhausen. And we know that little.
All right, who cares?
But Mr. Danhausen likes to tell people things that are happening in and around his career. I think so, because there's a lot of updates about Danhausen. A lot of times, all the time, from certain sources, all the time, constantly. So that's where I'm guessing you're getting another flood of Baron Corbin updates, is that Mr. Danhausen is probably letting everybody know what's happening with Baron Corbin, as is Baron Corbin. But if I'm an editor and those guys are in my DMs, I'm going to say, all right, look, we published 3 Baron Corbin stories yesterday. We're just not going to publish one today. It's fine. Like, we don't need don't need blow by blow. Okay, he has just informed MLW that he is no longer their champion.
Right, we're seriously getting step by step, blow by blow Baron Corbin updates this week. It must just be a slow news week. I know there's an AEW pay-per-view. There must not be a lot else going on. This constant stream of Baron Corbin updates. Baron Corbin re-signing with WWE. You know what? That's worthy of like one sentence at the end of the WWE section of the Observer.
Right. WWE
That's
colon.
what that is.
You know, there's
right.
one line.
WWE colon.
Baron Corbin, comma, Tom Pestock,
right.
33,
yes.
Looks to be returning.
With the company.
Looks to be returning in the coming weeks. Yes. Period.
That's it.
Yeah.
And it's the last thing in the section underneath all of the house show gates, underneath
right. The play-by-play notes from the 325, Raw, and it's like, show started with updates, Triple H, promo.
Updates from WWE 2K28 coming out in 18 months. After all of that, it'd be like one line at the end, Baron Corbin, parentheses, Tom Pestock, bench press, for 340 pounds, is returning to It would be worthy of one fucking sentence. He wouldn't get a top story. It wouldn't be one of the lead stories in the Observer. There's no fucking chance. Like, he wouldn't get, not even 2 or 3 paragraphs. It'd be a one line at the end of the WWE section after everything else. But for whatever reason, we're getting blow-by-blow updates on Baron Corbin. It has been so surreal and bizarre to me that this is happening. Who gives a shit about Baron Corbin?
The current aggregation game is, there was a time last week, I think the Wrestling Observer website had 4 stories on like Shanky. Remember Shanky? And I'm like,
yes,
what the
Shanky.
Fuck are we doing?
What are we talking about Shanky for?
Do we need 1, let alone 4 Shanky updates?
You know what? I think it's the state of the aggregation. You're right. I think maybe someone's putting out a Baron Corbin report, which is funny on its own face. They're putting out a Baron, and then because it's getting aggregated,
yep.
And then if you have a follow-up to your Baron Corbin story, they're all going to aggregate that. So now everyone's just inundated with Baron Corbin
and Shanky updates. What are we doing?
I mean, it's God. No one cares. Do you know how? I know no one cares because he was one half of the MLW Tag Team Champions, and no one fucking cared. No one was buying tickets or clamoring to see. It's Baron Corbin. They're re-signing a mid-carder. I'm not saying it's not news, but my God. We've been flooded with this like AJ Styles is coming back or something. It's Baron Corbin. Maybe he could bring Madcap Moss back with him while he's at it.
Moss, yeah.
If Madcap Moss came back, it'd probably be the same thing.
Yes, yeah.
We'd be getting Madcap Moss on his way back. He's rumored for SmackDown. Madcap Moss.
It's absurd.
Baron Corbin. What, remember when he was poor and then he was
Happy Corbin there for a while.
He's Happy Corbin because he found money and then he was telling jokes, him and Madcap. All right, bring that guy back. I don't know why this is big news, but apparently it's more than a one-liner in the Observer now. I don't know, but all right, what am I supposed to do with this other than riff on it? What am I supposed to do with
break down Baron Corbin's
Baron
return?
Corbin is coming back to WWE? What would you like me to say about that? Do you have something to say about it?
I have nothing. All I have to tell you is I'm looking up the Baron Corbin news, and just here's the state of wrestling aggregations. I'm on WrestleZone.com, and trending. The second trending story is, quote, new update emerges on former WWE star Heidenreich after viral Walmart photo. What are we doing? What?
What?
Do you want me to click and find out what the new update that has emerged on former WWE star Heidenreich after his viral Walmart photo? All right. Let's see. This is from, I don't know how to pronounce this lad's name, so I'm just not even going to do it. Former WWE star Heidenreich, star is a little strong here, is once again getting attention following his viral Walmart photo earlier this year. Were you aware of the viral WWE star.
That's not what viral means. That's not what viral means. Do you know what? Okay. Do you know what was viral? 2 Girls, 1 Cup was viral.
Chocolate Rain was viral.
Fucking goats was viral. This, whatever this is not viral. Was never viral at any point. There was no viral Heidenreich picture at any point. Words have to mean things.
Quote, earlier this year, Heidenreich went viral after a Walmart coworker shared a wholesome story about meeting him in Ohio. The former WWE star received praise online afterwards. Fans praised him for being humble and friendly during the interaction. Heidenreich also signed an action figure for the fan.
This is the whole news. What's the story?
Following the viral Walmart photo, a new update has now emerged regarding Heidenreich. On X, formerly known as Twitter, I love that they're still using X, formerly known as Twitter. The same fan revealed that he recently spoke with the former WWE star and claimed Heidenreich is now ready to make public appearances again. The fan wrote, quote, I just got off the phone with Heidenreich. Many of you seen the photo of him working at Walmart months ago. No, I did not. Since then, we've talked, and now he is ready to accept bookings for appearances, signings, interviews, acting, and product endorsements. To inquire about booking him for all types of appearances, it seems very specific. I feel like this man's got a take on this. To inquire about booking him for all types of appearances, except matches, so you can't book Heidenreich in a match, please contact @BookProWrestler. Or also Steve NWA11 at yahoo.com.
So not Baron Corbin. So Heidenreich planted this, obviously.
Clearly, yes.
Because he's trying to get booked.
Yes.
There was no viral photo.
No, the viral Walmart photo. Come on.
That's not viral. That doesn't count as viral. That's not viral. Words have to mean things. So he's trying to get booked and got them to publish this, is what this is. His agent or himself. I think
Nick
he has an agent?
NWA11 at yahoo.com or whatever. Yeah, at Book Pro Wrestlers or whatever. It was, oh, hey, it's Heidenreich at Walmart. It is viral. Oh, he is back. He was so nice. He signed a figure for a fan. Okay. The product endorsement. What product endorsement does Heidenreich think he's getting?
Yeah, what's he going to endorse? Should we inquire to see if he'll endorse this podcast?
That's not a bad idea.
Just to see what his rates are and everything?
It's not a bad idea.
Why don't you go send an email to Nick at NWA11.com or whatever the fuck and see if Heidenreich will endorse this podcast.
All right. I wholly endorse this product and or podcast.
This endorsement opportunity. They'll probably answer you back in 17 minutes because that's the only, they're not getting any emails.
They're probably not getting many other product endorsement.
They're not getting any emails.
Especially, which sucks because after you would think after his viral Walmart photo that things would really pop off for him. But
right.
But it didn't. So there's Happy Corbin updates. You know what? We're going to jump into MLW. We will talk about Big Cass and Enzo here in a minute. But MLW is coming back, Joe. MLW Fusion after all this time. So here's the blow by blow of what happened. So MLW had a very good thing going for years and years and years. Yes. Good for us. Maybe not good for their financials, but they would have these YouTube specials once a month. In between that, they might have like every other week, like a 2-hour special or whatever. And it was nice. It was nice and easy for us to watch and a good filler for podcast, topics. So it was perfect. So we watched it for a while. Well, that all went away. At the beginning of this year, that all went away because they said MLW Fusion is coming back. And it was like all this big hype and all this stuff. And Joe, MLW will now be coming back. It'll usher in a new era with a special 2-hour premiere on May 30th. And it will air on YouTube every single week.
All right.
So they went away for 6 months. Were they shopping this thing and it just nobody took it? Like BN, I guess we checked about BN and like nobody has BN, so we're not even gonna. But after all this 6 months, they're just gonna be MLW Fusion is just gonna air hour-long episodes on Saturday on YouTube.
My guess is yes, they were shopping this thing and we're right back on YouTube.
Right.
But now we're doing Fusion on Saturdays for an hour instead of the 2 shows a month that were full shows that were like 2 hours long. So slightly different format than what we were getting earlier.
Yeah.
I don't want to watch it weekly though.
No,
this is not as appealing to me.
No, I liked my little gap. I like you need a gap. You need an MLW. It's same with NWA. Yeah. I don't want to watch power every single week in its current format. I will watch an NWA special. I'll watch a 3 or 4 hour NWA special. I'll watch a 2 hour MLW special. There's something about an hour weekly MLW Fusion episode that just doesn't interest me at all.
Correct. Yeah. So, well, is it going to be all the shit that they haven't been airing for the last 6 months? And it's going to be, okay, great. Yeah. Great. So now it's old too. So now we're going to have Baron Corbin matches airing on MLW Fusion on YouTube.
Till August, yeah.
While he is on SmackDown wrestling Ricky Saints. All right, great. Can't wait to not watch that.
Yeah.
They got to catch up before I'm interested. They got to catch up, Rich Craig.
Yeah, I can't watch stuff from because they're going to be airing the 2 hour special will presumably be airing stuff from February, and that I can't watch February wrestling in late May. I can't. I just my head won't accept it. I just can't do it. It's very tough.
Where'd they leave off? Like, what's the last thing we watched?
The last thing we watched was Battle Riot. Remember, and then they did the Battle Riot in like January, like right after the Royal Rumble. It was like a week after the Royal Rumble, and we're like, of all the times to do it, yeah, they're going to pick up in early February, probably with the Lucha show from Chicago that I didn't go to.
So how do they plan on catching up if they're just going to pick up from? Is this going to be an NWA thing where they're perpetually 4 months behind?
Possibly, or I wonder if they're The problem is like you can't really cut big because MLW always seem to have like stories and you know what I mean, like a lot of it isn't just like you could make it a little bit easier if you're just like, all right, that match sucked and that promo sucks, we'll just cut all that, we'll cut all that, but they don't. It's gonna be tough for them to do that because they're kind of a narrative, you know, MLW seems to be very narratively driven, so that would be tough to like cut out whole segments and whole matches. So yeah, they'll probably just be a couple months behind, maybe catch up at the end of the year, maybe. They're going to blow out a lot. They're doing a 2 hour special to start it off. So that'll
get through a lot.
That'll get through a lot. And then an hour long every single.
But can you though? That's like that 2 hours is like the length of one of their shows before.
Yeah.
Like, that's really still just one taping, really. I don't know.
I guess the weekly aspect, it'll make it a little bit easier to catch up.
That's true.
I think they've done 5 shows in that time. So it's a lot to catch up on. But
when the hell does this shit start?
May 30th. They have a special on at 6:05. 6:05 on Saturday.
They've taped 5 shows since.
I think it's 5. Yeah, it might be 6. I think it's either 5 or 6.
And you know, Fusion never really stopped. It was just like really old footage, right?
Old Jacob Fatu matches. Yeah.
Right. On Be In or whatever. So is this Fusion? I know you don't have any of these answers, but I'm going to ask the questions anyway. Is this Fusion airing at 6:05 on Saturdays? Also airing on Be In.
It is.
So the same thing is going to be airing on.
Correct. Yeah. It's Be In. It's what is the time slot? It's a hilarious time slot that they have. It is on. Let's see.
3:00 in the afternoon on
Saturday
Tuesdays.
nights at 9 Central, 10 Eastern on Be In.
So
if you're
it airs
home,
on YouTube first.
Yeah, it airs on YouTube free every Saturday at 6:05 Eastern, and then airs on Be In Sports at 10 p.m. Eastern every Saturday.
So they'll still be making $0 essentially.
Correct.
Yeah, because they're going to have 50,000 people watch these YouTube shows. We know that doesn't pay anything. Couple $100, right?
If that. Yeah, right? Like, I mean...
Not great.
Looking at our numbers, not good.
Yeah, a couple $100.
Maybe pay for a little bit of catering at every show, but that's about it. So, MLW. And then quickly, Big Cass and Enzo. Anything that you want to say about them? It looks like they're potentially coming in as well. Enzo's doing some stuff in NXT, and Big Cass, it's rumored that his contract's up in AEW, so sure, whatever.
Well, I think that act will be over like crazy in front of a modern WWE audience. So I think it's a good move if they could put those guys back together. I think Big Bill did pretty much everything he could do in AEW. I would shake hands and wish him well if I were Tony Khan. I wouldn't feel any pressure to match that contract he's being offered or whatever. He can go. I mean, he did well. You know, he is. Look, that guy reconstructed his career. He went from
his life, really.
His life, yeah. he went from whatever that show was in Rawway, where he got, the cops had to come and everything, and he hit rock bottom, and he went to TNA, and he went to AEW, and kept his nose clean, got married, got his life back in order, got his career back in order. Good for him. And I think that there's just, look, he had the tag team with Ricky Starks. That was a fun little deal. He had the tag team with Brian Keith, and he was in the faction with Jericho. He did some good mid-card type things in AEW. He wasn't ever going to move up any higher than that in AEW. He's really been out of the mix, really, from when Jericho went away for a while. Both of those guys have been out of the mix, both him and Brian Keith. So if I were him and WWE wanted me back and they wanted to pair me back up with Enzo, I would jump all over that.
Oh yeah. No, he's one of those guys that, and this situation's perfect for what we always say, the jumps are good, and and having two healthy companies is great for a guy like this who's kind of done whatever. And for AEW, it'd be fine too. It's like, all right, yeah, sure. And you shake his hand, and if you want to do business with him, a couple years down the line, you absolutely could. I wouldn't shut the door on having Big. I mean, you could certainly bring Bill back again if you really want to. But for a guy like him, he should definitely look at the landscape and say, all right, look, I probably reached my ceiling here in AEW. They're never going to push me as a main eventer. I'm never going to get a title run with this company. Of course not. I'm probably not even going to get a secondary title run with this company. I probably amassed as much as I possibly can. So yeah, if they want me, if there's interest there, of course, yeah, you jump and do whatever you can and go back there and yeah, that is absolutely what two healthy companies can do for somebody like that. The middle class of wrestling can really, really benefit from there being two companies that are hiring people. So that's works perfectly for him.
I think the path to the biggest push and making the most money for him is teaming with Enzo in WWE. And I'm sure he sees that. And if I'm AEW, I'm not, it's fine. He's been there, like almost 5 years. It's time to move on. Remember the W. Morrissey run in TNA?
Yeah.
W. Morrissey.
That's a long time ago now. The
W. Morrissey.
W. Morrissey, yeah.
So, he had a nice little run, and it's time to move on to the next territory. And I think those guys could be a potentially really big act there right now in that landscape, where it's more about what they bring to the table than anything else in terms of, especially if you're a mid-carder, getting over and staying on TV and being pushed and those sorts of things. It's the phrase that we coin. I mean, you need a yeet, and they have a yeet. Mm-hmm. They have a very obvious yeet. Crowd participation, all that shit. I think it'll work.
Yeah, I don't begrudge either of them for that. I know the Enzo thing, is a little more complicated, but they don't seem to really care, and that seemed to have cooled off as the years went on. I forget even what happened with that situation with Enzo, but
there was an accusation. They fired him. Now, for people who don't remember, he got fired because he withheld all of that from the company. And they didn't like being... That's right. They felt blindsided because he tried to keep it quiet. And when they found out that there was an ongoing investigation, I don't even think he was ever arrested. I might be misremembering, but I know he wasn't charged, and I know he obviously wasn't convicted at any point or anything, but he hid the investigation from them, and they felt blindsided by that, and they fired him. And as well they should. I mean, that's very embarrassing for the company and everything else, and you can't just sweep that under the rug. Now, as it turned out, the accusation had a lot of holes in it, as I recall, and the accuser's friends even turned on her publicly and said, come on. She's I forget. I don't want to say it. People are going to get mad at me. But it went nowhere, like you said.
Yeah, I just don't remember hearing any updates about it recently. So it seems like everyone's kind of cooled off on right. Because there was a while there where it was like toxic. If you had Enzo on your show, it was like, oh no, what are you doing? But it seemed to have cooled down a little bit.
It did. And I think, as I recall, the accusation had a lot of holes in it and didn't have a ton of merit. What it did give us, though, was Enzo's smash single consensual penis. You remember consensual penis, Rich Craig?
Real one's consensual penis. Yes.
His smash single consensual penis, which I think we would all like to forget, but is very real. And maybe I'll give that a spin later. Consensual penis.
It's been a while. Yeah, it's been a while since I heard it.
Can you still find consensual penis?
I'm not going to Google that. I'll let you Google that if you like. So, I'll let you open a incognito tab for that one.
Open up the old incognito tab for consensual penis.
I was going to let one of the viewers at home, one of you fine folks in the chat room, figure that out. But
oh no, well there it is. Now is the video. I got the lyrics, which I'm not going to read. Yeah, there's the video. 8 minutes and 29 seconds.
8 minutes? Why is it 8 minutes long?
Wait, I'm sorry. I apologize. That's his other hit single. Phoenix is 8 minutes and 29 seconds.
Okay.
Now, consensual penis, I can't seem to find. That one I can't find. Maybe he thought better and took that down. But the lyrics live forever.
Can you give me is there any sample you could give me or no? Is it all too problematic?
Lion ass hoe out in Phoenix.
Oh,
when I say this shit,
okay,
I mean it.
All right, I think we're good.
Fuck you marks that hatred. This is all. Hold on.
Is that how it starts? Lion
yes.
ass. What is it? Lion ass bitch in Phoenix.
Lion ass hoe.
Lion ass hoe.
In Phoenix.
Yeah, in Phoenix. Yeah.
This is a lot. There's a lot of lyrics to this. Fuck you marks that hatred. This is for all my fans that waited. Entertainment's hottest free agent. Bitch, I'm reincarnated. Well, that was like 8 years ago. So he did get reincarnated, I guess, if they bring him back. But it took a decade. It took a solid decade.
So we're being told in the chat room that Phoenix might be the name of the song. That maybe consensual penis and Phoenix are the same name.
Oh, you know what? They're right. It is 8 minutes long. Phoenix / consensual penis by Enzo Amore. Real one. Listen up, you sloppy jalopy son of a bitch. Sitting on your fucking couch with your fucking phone in your hand, doing your armchair detective work. Think you know what the fuck is going on? When was the last time you kept a 2-month social media silence? You think I wasn't going to say shit? And then he goes into the rap.
Oh, okay. So this is like spoken word before. This is like deaf poetry slam going on.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
And that, because I was like, these lyrics, I don't know, he's not really like rhyming. He's just kind of saying stuff.
No, that's his setup.
I remember that now. Okay, I do remember the song.
See, if you're one of those sloppy jalopy sons of bitches, you got to listen to that. He's got to set it up first.
Right. I'm an armchair quarterback or armchair detective or whatever. Detective. Yeah. That's me.
Yeah, and then he does a very long rap.
Yeah, 8 minutes seems like.
Middle finger to the sky, gripping my consensual penis.
Consensual penis. Oh man, well, realest guy in the room. How you doing? Anyway, there you go. That is Enzo.
No, I ain't Bill Cosby, bitch. No, I ain't Bill Cosby, bitch. I'm just reading it.
Well, that's good. That's good. He's not Bill Cosby. Anything else?
He says, bitch, them wages getting garnished. I don't know what that means.
Oh, wow.
Bitch, them wages getting garnished for the image you tarnished. Oh, I think he's saying he's going to sue her.
He's going to garnish her wages. Yeah.
Yes, and her wages will be garnished. I think that's what he's saying. All right. TMZ owes me some restitution in the midst of this disillusion. Choosing prosecution over Constitution. This guy's a regular Nas over here, right?
I was going to say, look out.
Yeah.
Look out, rock him. Here comes real one, yeah.
Yeah, he's
KRS-One? No, real one.
No, this is the real lyricist here.
Right.
Gotcha. You got your 15 minutes, girl. I ain't mad at you. Nothing but love for you. Doesn't sound like it's nothing but love.
Yeah, nothing but love for you. I called you a lion ass hoe and a bitch, and I'm going to garnish your wages.
I got to call you out on that one.
Yeah, Enzo, I think you're gotten to, brother. I think you're...
Yeah, I don't think there's love. You don't have no love for her.
You seem to be calling her the B word a lot.
Yeah, you're going to garnish her wages. I don't know. It doesn't sound like a lot of love to me. Doesn't sound like you have... forgetting about this as you claim. He claims he's going to forget about that. I don't know.
Yeah, well.
Yeah. There's Phoenix / consensual penis. And
did we just make up that it was called consensual penis just because he says consensual penis?
Maybe.
In the song?
That's possible.
Yeah, that's okay. You know what? That's okay.
Look, I remembered it as consensual penis.
Grabbing my consensual penis or whatever. Yeah.
And I'm going to tell Aaron Quinn right now, no, you are not putting this. You're not putting my
yeah, Aaron, please. Not this one.
Of this.
Not this one.
Not this one, Aaron. You know better, Aaron. This time you cannot put this over the beat to Phoenix / consensual penis. Whew. Okay.
We should probably preview Double.
Thank God nobody pays attention to this podcast. Thank God.
Yeah. Well,
Nobody
anyway,
pays attention.
let's talk about Double or Nothing. How about that? Let's have people pay attention to our preview of AEW Double or Nothing 2026 coming up this weekend. Again, we'll be doing Instant Reaction Live immediately following the show. Flagship Patreon.com at $10 tier for that. That gets you the live show immediately following the pay-per-view. It also gets you the audio replay, which will be up sometime the very next morning as well. But that'll be available exclusively on the $10 tier. That is the only place you can listen to Instant Reaction Live for AEW Double or Nothing 2026. So let's. There's actually been, as I was doing my notes today, a bunch of pre-show matches got announced. So I'm going to give you the most updated list of.
Well, this
pre-show.
Sounds exciting. I can't wait to hear it.
Well, hold on.
We're gonna get some more hot AEW action on the pre-show. I'm excited about that.
Well, you got the Death Riders,
All
Claudio,
right. Okay.
Daniel Garcia, and Wheeler Utah versus the Ops of Anthony Bowens, Hook, and Katsura Shibata, who really in AEW is a wow. So.
Not bad for a pre-show match. I'll take that.
It's fine. Divine Dominion, Megan Bain versus Zeta Steel and Viva Van. 5-minute tag team eliminator match. If Steel and Van last the 5 minutes, they will earn a future AEW Women's World Tag Team Championship shot. So I don't know if I like their chances, but we'll see.
Will they be the team to finally last 5 minutes?
With I don't think so, but time will tell. We'll find out on the pre-show. And then we have Shane Taylor Promotions. Shane Taylor, Anthony Ogogo, Captain Sean Dean, Carly Bravo, and Lee Moriarty versus the conglomeration, Mark Briscoe, Orange Cassidy, Roderick Strong, and Boom and Doom, Big Boom AJ, and QT Marshall. We're doing it again. We're big booming again.
I'll fucking do it again. Yeah, I mean, we're doing it again.
The older fat kid will tackle Carly Bravo or Trisha Dora, and then the smaller fat kid will smack Shane Taylor in the ass and then grab his chin. And it's like, all right, we get it.
Now, see, that was viral. I'll fucking do it again. That's viral.
Yes, that's
not
viral.
Whatever Heidenreich.
Not the viral Heidenreich Walmart photo? No, yeah, that wasn't.
That's not viral. Goofy going, murder. That was viral. That video was Heidenreich, not viral. Goofy, serial killer, viral. That's the difference, Rich Craig.
Yep. And at one point, Big Boom AJ and that crew was viral too, but at 15 minutes is definitely up. But
I don't even think they're viral anymore.
No, they're not.
At one time, viral.
Yes. Today,
the first
not so
Costco
much.
video, viral. Double chunk chocolate cookie, viral. That was viral. Heidenreich, not viral.
The Heidenreich's viral Walmart photo. Yeah, every single time it was viral Walmart photo. That's how you know it came from Heidenreich, because it was like copy and pasted every single time. Viral Walmart photo every single time. Not the photo from Walmart that went viral. It was the viral Walmart photo every single time. But that's a pre-show. Mick Foley will be on this pre-show as well. So he is.
Well, we got to talk about that.
Yeah, let's do
right?
that. Let's do that now.
Now, does this, I haven't really been paying attention. Does this fall under the category of, no one from the Fed, Are people mad about this, the sickos, or is this okay? Are they okay with Mick Foley?
I think it's a little in between. from what I've seen. I think it's because he's on the pre-show. It's like whatever. And I think the ardent, like, nobody from the Fed people are more for, like, mid-card WWE acts or whatever coming in. I don't think, like, a quote-unquote legend like a Mick Foley would be considered. Like, I don't think they cared when, like, Mark Henry got hired or whatever. You know, I don't, like, I thought it was a waste of money, but clearly Tony did not. He thought it was worth it. But I think like legends like that, and Mick Foley is usually considered like one of the good ones, so I don't think anybody really cares.
Okay.
I think.
I think it's a good idea. I mean, you know, he hasn't really been on TV in a long time. And I know he said on the conference call it's going to mostly be commentary for the pay-per-views and then some TVs. And then from there, he doesn't know how he's going to use them. I don't think it can hurt. I think Mick Foley has a lot of there's a lot of positive stock with Mick Foley. And I think that he was so outspoken against WWE and wanting to be disattached from them that I think that plays well to the most ardent of sickos because they like that shit. Both from a political standpoint and from a wrestling politics standpoint. So I don't see a lot of downside here. If you utilize Mick Foley in the proper way, he can absolutely be an asset. So I'm going to be open-minded about this, and I'm going to be interested to see. He's not just going to come in and do pay-per-view pre-shows with Renee. I mean, we know it's going to be more than that.
For sure.
So I'm curious to see how he's utilized. And, you know, obviously in AEW, it's more of a give and take in terms of having a lot more your ideas being taken more into consideration, those sorts of things. And he's always been a creative and thoughtful guy. So maybe he's got his eye on some people he would like to help get over and those sorts of things. He understands the business from that standpoint. He's not going to be one of these guys that's going to be selfish and coming in to get himself over. So I think it's a good move. And I thought that once he got away from WWE, I thought it was going to be an inevitability. That's something that Tony Khan was going to jump all over if Mick Foley was amenable to it. So I'm not surprised by it, and I think it's a good idea.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what they do with him. I know that there was immediate talk of like on screen. I really hope they don't do an on-screen authority figure stuff with him.
God, no.
Yeah,
that would be a fucking disaster.
That would be a disaster, and I hope they don't do.
Idea.
Yeah, I really, really hope they don't do that. I saw some people say, "Well,
that's not being floated, is it?"
No. I think people are like, "Oh, he'd be good at that because he was good as WWF commissioner in the year 2000." And it's like,
what would be good? Not having an on-screen authority figure.
We don't need a commissioner. Nobody needs a commissioner.
No one needs an on-screen authority figure. Please, no, God, no.
Right. So I would not do that. I would if I think that you mentioned that there's a lot of guys that he probably has his eye on, and I bet there's a ton of guys in that roster that want to work with Mick Foley as well. Like MJF, is a guy who would probably want to work with Mick Foley.
God, yeah.
John Moxley's a guy who never got to really fully, they had their story. They did their little angles, in 2012, I want to say. They tried to, shoot their own story, and that didn't work in that company, obviously. I'm sure those are guys that respect one another, so I'm sure Mox and Foley would like to do some stuff together, too. So I think him as like a, maybe sort of a, not necessarily a manager, I don't know the exact term to use, but like a guy that's sort of a hanger-on to a couple of other talents, and occasionally does some promo battles here and there. Here's one thing, and I saw a lot of people say, like, well, you could do this, and you and I are, and people think we're cruel when we say this, but I have no interest in ever seeing Mick Foley ever wrestle again. I'm good. I have seen a ton of Mick Foley wrestle. I've seen the guy wrestle for 30 years. I'm good. I don't need to watch the broken down husk of Mick Foley wrestle one more time. And everybody always brings up Sting. Well, what about Sting? Sting was the best retirement arc that any wrestler has ever had, basically, right? Like the most genuine, the most heartfelt, the happiest, the best booked, the most celebrated. Like it was perfect. He is the absolute exception to the rule. Very few other retirement arcs are good, are not like they're mostly sad and depressing. You're on the edge of your seat wondering, is this man going to die in the ring? Can he even go? Sting is not the comp to use. That is a one of one. I don't think it'll ever work the way that the Sting arc worked. I don't think Mick Foley can have the Sting arc because I don't think Mick Foley's body is anywhere near what Sting's body was. And Sting, obviously, he had some health issues here and there. He had a major injury in WWE, but the guy took incredible care of his body his entire life. He didn't, he wasn't an abuser of many things, and he didn't take huge risks when he was in the ring as well. So he was able to kind of adapt and work way better than maybe all of us expected. But regardless, like, he is the shining light, the shining example of what it can be, the retirement arc. Very few guys are like that. So I don't know. I'm really not interested in seeing Mick Foley attempt to wrestle while not giving himself a concussion with his bad hips and bad knees and bad leg. Like, I don't need to see that. Do you really need to? I don't know. Some people love seeing old wrestlers like struggle mightily to survive. I don't really get it. I'm good. Like, we just talked about Andre in 91. Like, I don't need to watch that. I'm good. Like, I have Andre the Giant memories from when he was a capable wrestler and a capable worker. I'll watch those. And I have the same thing with Mick Foley. I don't know why you would want to see Mick Foley wrestle in 2026. I just don't get it. But
I don't think he wants to wrestle in 2026. I mean, his body's been in bad shape for years, and now he's 60. So I wasn't even thinking of it from that standpoint. Now, does he get revved up and fired up about something and decide he wants to give it one more go? I mean, maybe. You just hope it's not embarrassing if he does. But I think the amount of concussions he's had, the amount of punishment he's put his body through as much as anybody in the history of the business. I think he's going to be pragmatic about this, and I don't think he's coming back to this thinking about having a match at some point. I mean, who knows? You can never say never. But, Tony Khan didn't really close the book on that. I think he said something to the effect of, if he's physically feasible, it's not something I want to put pressure on him to do. That would be entirely up to him. That's not closing the book and saying I'm not open to it, because he didn't say that. He basically, I'm paraphrasing, but I just don't think Mick Foley at 60 years old, going on 61 years old very shortly, with physical state that he's in and the concussions and everything, I think he understands he shouldn't be bumping. So if I had to bet on this one, I would say that he won't wrestle a match.
Yeah, I don't know.
A real match.
Yeah. I do wonder if he just gets that itch, like you said, and he gets into something and he decides, I'm going to get myself into shape. And I don't know. You can never rule out these guys, these workers, especially someone like a Mick Foley. But I would, if I was Tony and I'm AEW, I would really strongly suggest he fit into the Tully Blanchard, Jake the Snake Roberts, Arn Anderson, like those kind of guys role in AEW. I think that'd be much more beneficial for him. And he's a little bit more like, despite all the concussions, all that sort of stuff, like I think he'd be better. I mean, he'll be a way better promo.
He'll be more effective than those guys.
Yeah, exactly. That if used well, I think he's got a better mind for the business still today in 2026 than like Tully did. Like Tully was kind of just a passenger. He was just kind of there along for the ride. Jake had a couple moments here and there, but he seemed kind of, like I don't know. And Arn was good in certain points, but I think Mick is more effective in that role, whatever they end up doing with him.
I think he could still probably be a top tier promo.
Oh yeah.
Like if you have him involved in an angle in some way, I think he could still cut promos better than most people in the business. So that's what he brings to the table. And he's done commentary before. He was someone. Didn't he quit commentary because he just couldn't take Vince in his ear? Wasn't he that guy? He's like, I just can't deal with this.
He was doing SmackDown for a while, and he was so sick of Vince screaming in his ear, he just said, fuck it, I'm out.
He's like, I can't do this. So if he's able to do commentary with more freedom, where he's allowed to actually express what he thinks about things and what he thinks is going to get things over, then that might be something that he really likes. But I'm entering this with an open mind, and I look, it's Mick Foley. He's going to bring attention to him. We know he could talk, and I don't see, how this could be a negative in any way. It can only be a positive.
Most people don't realize how much their personal information is being bought and sold every day. Data brokers are making billions, pulling details about you from public records and the internet, and then packaging and selling it, usually without your consent. That's how your information lands in the hands of scammers, spammers, even stalkers. It's why you get endless robocalls and why ads seem to follow you everywhere. That's where Aura comes in. Aura actively removes your data from broker sites and keeps it off. They also instantly alert you if your information shows up in a breach or on the dark web. But Aura goes beyond data protection. With one app, you get a VPN, antivirus, password manager, spam call protection, dark web monitoring, and even up to $5 million in identity theft insurance. All backed by 24/7 US-based fraud support. Other companies might sell just credit monitoring or just a VPN. Aura gives you all of it, together, at the same price competitors charge for just one service. Start your free trial today at aura.com/remove. Protect yourself now at aura.com/remove.
So that is all we have right now for the pre-show, or the 0 hour, whatever the hell. We have those 3 matches there. So let's go to the main show itself. We'll start off with Okada versus Takeshita. Got Kazuchika Okada, Konosuke Takeshita for the AEW International Championship. They're finally doing the match. We've been screaming about it for months and months and months and months. We're finally here, and I gotta admit, I'm not as into this as I thought I was going to be after they've been basically teasing this story for like 7 or 8 months. I'm sure the match is going to fucking rock. I mean, I have no doubt in my mind the match is going to rock, but it does feel like, I don't know, it felt like finally when we got to this moment, I would feel like a little bit more impactful, and it just doesn't. I don't know. It just kind of feels like a match on the card to me. I don't know how you.
It's probably because the long-term build was so tedious, and then the short-term build was kind of nothing.
Right.
So we had this long-term build that seemed like it took forever, and we were all just waiting for the fucking explosion to happen and the match to come to fruition, and we're getting it. And then since the match has been announced, they really haven't done anything to heat it up.
No.
So it's kind of weird on both of those ends. I'm sure they're going to have an excellent wrestling match. I'm sure the finish will be gimmicked up in some way, though. I think people need to prepare for that. But yeah, it's kind of like, I don't want to say a forgotten match, but they did nothing to promote this match last night, and they had 3 hours. I think they did one 30-second pre-tape package. That was it. And then they did a face-to-face with Renee that they put on YouTube. That they didn't even put on the they didn't even put on the 3-hour TV show. And no one's going to see that, obviously. So very strange. Just long, tedious build to get there, and then not a great build at all once they did get there.
Right, and I think you're onto something there. Perfect. I mean, it was like we were telling the story for like 7 months, like this simmering, obvious breakup and obvious fracture within the Don Callis family, and then it got like 4 or 5 months ago. It was like, all right, let's get on with this. We know what's happening here. There's no reason for these men to be friends anymore. We'll talk about that later in the show too, because there's another feud in AEW that's just like utterly ridiculous. Like, why are these two people still together? But I had that same thought about Takeshita and Okada for a while. I'm like, Takeshita, what are you doing, dude? Why are you still with Okada? Like, the guy like dropping elbows on him in the middle of a match. Okada's like beating him up, and Takeshita's still just kind of like pretending that they're attacked. It's very weird. And then they finally got to there, and then they was just like, all right, well, what's done is done. They kind of wiped their hands of this match since then. And it was like, no, you guys have to, like, if you're going to invest, months and months and months and months into this match and this feud, you can't just put the match together and go, all right, well, that's it. We're out of ideas. But maybe they did. Maybe they had all their ideas and they're done with it. It just feels very like, I don't know. We should have done this match 3 months ago then if we had no ideas what to do with it once they finally broke up and went. But regardless, I'm sure it'll be a great match. It's just, I should be, a year ago, if you told me Okada versus Takeshita are going to face each other for the International Championship, you're probably thinking, oh, man, that's going to be a hell of a match with a great feud. And there were points during this, last year where it was like, oh, yeah, they're building this thing up really well. And it just feels like now that we got to the finish line, it's just kind of, it's really out of sight, out of mind. Like you said, it was pretty much completely out of sight on the Go Home Dynamite. So very strange. But
yeah.
FTR, they'll be defending the tag team titles against Cage and Cope in a tag team I Quit match. And if Cage and Cope lose, they must retire as a tag team. They can never team together again.
Look, the last match was really good. So I don't have any reason to think that this one won't be really good. But is there a chance that it's not good? Is there a chance that it's way too Adam Copeland heavy from a storytelling standpoint? Yes, of course. That's always hanging over every Cope match. But the last time these two teams had a match, it was very good. This one should have a ton of heat and should also be very good. So we'll see.
I'm a little worried it's going to get too plundery with it being the I Quit stipulation. Yeah. So that Edge likes to, or Cope, likes to do that a lot as well. So it probably will get pretty plundery. But yeah, I got to give, and I said this after Dynasty, like I gotta admit that Cope has been fine in AEW. He's resisted the temptation to go full edge, and there were many times where it felt like he was going to go to that level and literally go to that place many times, and he never quite did. And I think they've done a good job of telling the story of Cage and Cope, where they're not exactly friends. They're the enemy of my enemy is my friend or whatever, but they're not exactly friends. Like they're not exactly, it's not all water under the bridge. It's not all right. Yeah, whatever, man. Well, cool. Yeah, I tried to kill you, but that's fine. No problem. Like so many of the wrestling stories would do that. And these guys still don't fully trust each other. Cage is still a little cagey around Cope. Cope still doesn't quite trust Cage. And I think that is good nuanced storytelling that is so rare in wrestling today. So I really do appreciate that. And FTR, I mean, they're on one of the best runs they've ever had, if not the best run they've ever had over the last year and a half. So it's like, I can't bet against these guys right now, so we'll see. I mean, I'm at least somewhat excited in this, and I'm very curious how the finish goes, because I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility that Cage and Cope lose, and I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility that Cage just fucking turns on Cope again halfway through the match or at the end of the match or whatever. I don't think that's impossible. I don't know.
It's interesting because everyone has just been under the assumption that this story ends with those two guys winning the tag titles, but what if they just don't?
Right.
And that wouldn't be the first time in AEW where you're viewing things through the typical pro wrestling storytelling lens, and then they go in another direction. And then we're always pleasantly surprised by that when they do. We're always like, oh, they didn't do the thing we thought they were going to do. Very refreshing.
Right. We've been booking this team to win the tag team titles since last year, like last year around this time, we were saying, oh, well, then they're going to win the tag team titles. We all know that that's what's going to happen. It's going to be Cage and
what if it doesn't?
And it might not. Yeah. And like I said, I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility that these guys lose and they're done as a tag team. And then Cage, fucking beats his ass again. And then
maybe they have a program that culminates at Wembley.
Right.
That'd be a very good Wembley match for AEW to put together, these two guys against each other. But the only other thing that gives you the Young Bucks were at one point involved in this program, right? So then it's like they've been teasing the Young Bucks versus Cage and Cope.
And that's a good Wembley match too. If you're thinking about Wembley matches, I mean the Young
Edge
Bucks versus Edge and Christian,
the Young Bucks, right? And they've kind of gotten away from that in this pay-per-view cycle because they've got the Bucks aligned with obviously Jericho and all of that, but they did that whole thing symbolically where they held the belts up and handed, you know what I mean? They did all that shit. Mm-hmm. So that still kind of points to Cage and Cope winning this, but what you propose, I don't think is impossible, and I think it would be an interesting way of going about it. Let me see if I get you the
betting odds. I'd like to see
a betting line. You want a betting line here?
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
Did this log me out? Oh, shit. I got money on baseball games. I didn't even know it. Let's see.
One of these sites should sponsor us. Then we could do these. These can be sponsored segments, you idiots.
Cage and Cope are massive favorites, minus 2,000.
Wow. So, that might be worth dropping a couple bones on just in case.
Plus 900 on FTR. Good value there. Plus 900.
That might not be the worst. That might not be the worst bet. I wouldn't bet the house on FTR, but a couple bucks, couple bones.
Yeah, a little sprinkle.
A little sprinkle on FTR might not be bad,
A little sprinkle.
Yeah, I might do that.
Like when you have just a little hunch about the Colorado Rockies on a random Wednesday.
You're right. Is that on mybookie.ag that you're looking at?
There's no free ads here.
Oh, sorry. That's right.
There's no free ads.
Fuck them.
Come on. Yeah. Fuck them. Like Big Bad Luck Fale says.
Yeah.
Fuck them. So look, I like that you've casted some doubts on what looks like a very chalk finish. How about that?
Yeah. Okay. I don't think it is. Yeah. I think there is because they've kind of zagged every single time with Cope. Like everything that I thought he was going to do, he hasn't done. So I do wonder if maybe they zig one more time and have FTR win. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see. It's probably going to be a three-way match at Wembley, right? FTR, the Bucks versus Cage and Cope, the champions. But
with the TLC, but you can't call it TLC.
Yes, right.
What we thought we were getting on this show.
Yeah.
Right?
But let me have this. Let me have this at least for a minute. Hey, you can have this. Stadium Stampede.
Oh, no.
All you, brother.
No, you have to endorse this. I'm the hater of the Stadium Stampede. You love these matches.
No. I like Anarchy in the Arena. I don't like Stadium Stampede.
Oh, what's the difference?
There's a big difference. Not really. Not really anymore. No, I liked a couple of the Anarchy in the Arenas that you hated. I have since... There's been a couple since then that I've been like, all right, I think I'm good forever on these. And I'm certainly good on, it's Double or Nothing season. Time for a insert Anarchy in the Arena or insert a Stadium Stampede match. So we got Jericho, Bobby Lashley, Shelton Benjamin, Kenny Omega, Jungle Jack Perry, Matt Jackson, and Nick Jackson versus Ricochet, Bishop Kaun, Toa Leona, Mark Davis, Andrade, Clark Connors, and David Finlay. That is a lot of men in a match.
A lot of men.
And a lot of brawling and hitting each other with weapons, brawling in the crowd, brawling backstage.
I'm terrified that they are on the grounds of a major tennis center of the wackiness that will ensue in this thing as they brawl outside of the Louis Armstrong venue and onto other courts in the facility.
Yeah, someone's getting tossed over a tennis,
tennis-based humor.
Yeah.
Fucking the tennis ball shooter thing that they train with. Someone getting shot with tennis balls.
Oh, yeah.
You can mark that one down. Maybe John McEnroe or Yannick Noah will make an appearance and hit somebody with a tennis racket.
Pete Sampras will show up. Yeah.
Pete Sampras, absolutely. Jim Courier. Who knows who could show up? What's Yvonne Lendl up to? I don't know. He could show up here with Boris Becker for all we know. So listen.
Now you've sold me on this match. I'm in. I'm in with the amount of 1980s and 1990s tennis players that will be.
How busy could Michael Chang really be?
Michael Chang. Yeah, he's got nothing going on, right?
How busy can Michael Chang really be?
I still love Michael Chang.
Mats Wilander has nothing going on. Get him out there and have him, see, can't you see that? Can't you see like Goran Ivanisevic out there spanking Ricochet with a tennis racket?
That might be a little too niche.
Right?
I don't know.
Like Goran, even known for that power serve, the first man to hit 100 miles per hour on and he's spanking Ricochet with the tennis racket. If there was ever a flagship segment made for Alan Cunahan, it was this one.
Yeah, we should have called him. Yeah, he's probably he just woke up. He's probably sleeping right now, but he just woke up. He doesn't know why. He just jumped out of bed, scared the shit out of Sarah. She's saying, "What's going on, Alan?" He goes, "I don't know." Something.
He's scratching the back of his neck.
Right, something.
He's like, I was dreaming about Boris Becker and Goran Ivanisevic. It was strange. Right. And
Matthew
shortly,
Allen says French Open starts this weekend, so no current tennis players. No problem, Matthew. Everybody we've mentioned has been retired for 35 years.
Yeah, so. Yeah. I mean, what do you
the
think?
most current player mentioned is Michael Chang, maybe, right? I don't think we have not mentioned. We haven't even gotten to the Andy Murrays or any of the guys who are. No, everybody we have mentioned has been gone.
I don't think I've named someone who played in the 2000s. No. What show do you think this is? Where do you think we pull our references from? I mean, geez. So I don't know. I think it's going to be, it has a chance to be wacky in all the wrong ways.
Yeah.
I have no interest in this. I have
zero.
I'm good. Zero interest in this. The only thing that can make this worse, honestly, is Hangman comes riding in on a horse. That's the only thing that can make this worse. I will never forgive them for that spot. He's on that street. It's COVID, so the streets are empty. And he's riding a fucking horse.
Very slowly.
Very slowly.
Into the empty Jacksonville Jaguars Stadium, yeah. I forget what sponsorship it had at that time. But yeah, I watched that match not that long ago, and it's not very good. And you hated the horse that night. For people that are wondering, I pulled the tape, and you can listen to Change the World on flagshippatreon.com.
Oh, you pulled the tape.
Oh, yeah. And you were like, the fuck is he doing with a goddamn horse? I'm supposed to care about this guy riding in on a horse. It was like
utterly ridiculous. You know what else I don't care about? what Chris Jericho and the Young Bucks call their collective team, which was what they led off Dynamite with last night. Nothing would describe the giant chasm between what modern wrestling fans want and what I want than anyone who could possibly give a shit what Jericho and the Young Bucks call themselves. Do you care about that?
Do you think I care about what Jericho and the...
I don't know. Maybe
I don't.
You're wrapped up in that.
No, I would like for these guys to care about taping their
Beating up
fists
their opponent, yes.
to beat up Mark Davis on Andrade within an inch of their life, and beat up Ricochet within an inch of his life, and they lead him bloody and battered. And I want Jericho taping his wrists and dunking it into glass, and those guys getting ready, and that's what I want. I want those guys getting ready to carve their foreheads up.
Concocting a name. I want them concocting ways to cripple Ricochet for being a shithead. That's what I want. I just don't get it. Like, what is with the ha-has? This is like, that's why I'm telling you, this is going to be a lot of comedy.
Oh, of course it will. Yeah, of course it will.
I don't think you're getting like an Anarchy in the Arena here, where Eddie Kingston's threatening to set the place on fire. I mean, look at the tone that they're setting. They're worried about what they're going to call themselves. I have come up with a great name for these guys. Would you like me to pitch it? Would you like to hear it?
So this is a name that you were pitching for Jericho and the Young Bucks.
Yes.
Because at the beginning of Dynamite, they were trying to concoct their team name. Okay, so what do you got?
And they couldn't agree. I think they should call themselves the Young Bucks and Chris Jericho. How's that? How do you like that?
Interesting take. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. How about we just call ourselves our names and we don't come up with a wacky, why? Who cares? Can we talk about hurting the opponents? Can we do that? We can't. Because there's always this, the goofiness and the utter nonsense is baked into the DNA of AEW. And it's never going away. And it just is what it is. And there's a segment of the audience who likes that shit. Who can't wait what the Cryon says on Sunday when Jericho and the Young Bucks come out and will have, be laughing their asses off at whatever
slapping
they come
their
up
knees.
With.
Oh my God, It's the Winnipeg Bucks or something stupid. You know what I mean? Something dumb.
Exactly.
Yeah. Man. Why 2 Bucks? Incredible.
While Marty Fish is shooting tennis balls at Ricochet. That's and it's going to be hilarious. Marty with a D, by the way.
Yeah, now I'm into this. You're actually getting me pretty excited about this show.
There's a lot of forgotten tennis players you can dig up.
Marty Fish.
That would be.
Is that the most recent one you've come up with? Is Marty Fish?
Has to be because he played
he played not that long ago. Yeah. Marty Fish.
You're Googling Marty Fish.
He had a headband. Yeah, I remember the headband.
I liked Marty Fish. He's a good doubles player, Marty Fish.
I never watched the doubles. I never got into the doubles.
They sell the doubles short. They don't air enough of the doubles. They don't air enough of the doubles. I like doubles tennis. It's exciting. It's faster paced. But he was a good doubles player. I don't know if he ever won a doubles Grand Slam event. But anyway, why are we talking about Marty Fish?
I don't know. Well, here we'll go to one thing I don't care about to another thing I don't care about. Okay. Then we'll clear the air for a couple things I care about on the rest of the show. By far, unquestionably, the worst thing in AEW right now is whatever the fuck this Chris Statlander Hikaru Shida thing is, which is happening. Four-way match, the coveted, or what did they call this a couple years ago? The historic women's four-way.
Is Double or Nothing where they do the historic women's four-ways?
Was it
is
historic?
That why they're doing this?
I think it was historic women's four-way, right?
The traditional women's four-way?
Traditional women's four-way. Yep. So we're doing it yet again.
Wait, Double or Nothing is the show where they do that?
I think so, because it did. 1 year it happened, and then they just said, that's traditional, and everyone's like, what?
And we were like, what? Traditional women's four-way? That's not true. That's not true. Okay. Don't stop what you're doing. Stop, Rich. Can you name any women's four-way that's ever happened at Double or Nothing off the top of your head?
Okay. No. Willow versus.
Do you think that we have a single listener that off the top of the dome can name a single women's four-way that's ever happened at Double or Nothing, all four participants, winner and finish? Do you think anyone could do it? Not one person.
So here's the best part about this. In our chat room, we have people saying All In is when they have the traditional four-way. And then someone said, no, it's All Out. That tells you all you need to know.
That tells you all you need to know.
About their traditional women's four-way.
That tells you all you need to know.
Is we said it's Double or Nothing. One person said it's All In. The other person said it's All Out. All you need to know about the traditional women's four-way.
It's not a thing. I didn't think it was Double or Nothing either. I didn't think it was either.
I think they've had a couple of them on Double or Nothings.
Yeah, but does that count as the traditional women's four-way that they do at whichever pay-per-view it is that no one can see?
Maybe it's All In then. I don't know.
Maybe it's All In.
I don't know.
Did they do one at All In? Let's look up the history of All In.
Right, I'm looking at the history of Double or Nothing real quick. So
hold on. All right, I'll look up All In.
Yeah,
All In. Did they have one at All In Arlington? A four-way.
Okay, maybe they never had one at.
This is why the sickos and the freakazoids don't like us, because we mock what they love. They're probably like, you don't remember these four? No one does.
No, I don't remember any.
No
of
one does.
Women's traditional four-way matches.
All right, so in Arlington, they didn't have one in Arlington.
Okay, well.
So it's not all.
Do they ever have these? Do they? Because we remember them apparently happening, but I don't think they ever happened. So
let's see. Let's check 2024. No, they did not have a four-way women's match in 2024 All In either.
There is a YouTube video. When I look up traditional women's four-way matches AEW, there is a video from our YouTube channel that says wrestling's greatest traditions, the deep history and traditions of AEW women's four-way matches, which is probably almost verbatim the exact segment we're happening right now.
Bagged on this before, is what you're saying. The great history and tradition. In 2023, they had one at All In.
Okay.
It was Saraya, Hikaru Shida, Britt Baker, and Toni Storm.
Yeah.
That was when Saraya won the title in Wembley.
Okay.
And CM Punk, Jungle Boy, whatever happened there. That was that show. Let's see if they had one the year before.
So I'm seeing one at All Out. I believe this is 2021, maybe. Toni Storm, Britt Baker, Jamie Hayter, and Hikaru Shida. They all feature Hikaru Shida, it seems like. And that's probably why they're all forgettable, because she stinks. So
now that was the first All In 2023. All right, yeah. So no, it's definitely not All In where they do this. We know it's not Double or Nothing.
They did one at All Out, like I said, in 2021.
So when is the traditional women's four-way that we're all supposed to think is traditional?
They did one at Dynamite Grand Slam, I'm finding out. Toni Storm, Serena Deeb, Athena, and Dr. Britt Baker. So,
well, we're getting one on Sunday.
Yeah.
We know that.
Great.
And
yeah.
I don't know if this is the traditional AEW women's four-way, but a tradition unlike any other. It's like the Masters. It's like the U.S. Open.
The U.S. Open,
taking place. Yeah. It's like the traditional Gabe Sapolsky 6-man tags from WrestleMania weekend. Now, I bet you can name some of those. But you cannot name any of these traditional AEW women's four-way matches. And this is one that you also won't be able to name probably about a week or two after it happens. You'll forget who all four participants were in this one as well. And yes, you brought up a great point that I have been ranting about for weeks now with this Chris Statlander, Hikaru Shida thing.
Ridiculous. Utterly ridiculous.
Utterly ridiculous that Chris Statlander continues to roll her eyes and be frustrated with Shida when there's really no reason that she has to hang out with her. She should have beaten her up weeks ago.
Why are you friends? Why are you friends with this person?
Why are you friends with her? There's no emotional connection. You're not family. You haven't been some legendary tag team that's been together for years and years. There's no reason to hang around this person who, A, annoys you, B, you think is costing you matches, C, cut you off in every promo you're trying to cut.
Talk shit about you in Japanese,
D,
which apparently you're not supposed
to
know because you're an idiot who never watches the show ever.
Right. It's the worst. You're right. It's the worst storyline going in this company today. It's dumb. No one cares about it. No one cares about this tag team. And Chris Statlander looks like a fucking idiot because she keeps hanging around this person. And hopefully we can just resolve this in this little four-way here.
It's one of the terrible things they do in modern wrestling now, where they have a team and they put them together, and the first thing they do is start breaking up right away and argue. And this is the WWE playbook. You know, look at every WWE stable and tag team. It's like they come together and then they're immediately arguing. Judgment Day has been arguing with each other nonstop for 7 years now, basically. You know what I mean? Like the bloodline is constantly looking at one another and saying, "Who are you? You know, no, I'm not going to listen to you. I'm in charge now." Blah, 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 blah. All the same shit. Like that's just what every stable does. And then AEW does it here, where they bring this team together. They team together a couple times in 2021 or 2022 or whatever. They come together just randomly. Which, by
the way, nobody remembers.
Nobody knows and nobody cares.
No one remembers. It was meaningless. It didn't do it. There were no titles then. Okay? No normal person remembers them teaming in 2021 or 2022. Right.
So then they just like come together. They have a little dumb pose that they do at the top of the, at top of the entrance ramp or whatever. Oh yeah, now we're a tag team because she sticks out her fucking stick and I stick out my hand, blah 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 blah, whatever. But then like immediately they're fighting with one another, and immediately Takeshita's talking shit, and immediately it's like, why? I have no emotional investment in these people being a team together. They're clearly don't get along right from jump. Why are they still together? Why is she? It just makes Statlander look like an absolute buffoon. So I don't know, and they're going to have a fucking four-way match here.
And obviously it'll heavily affect the finish of this four-way.
Yeah, of course.
I'm thinking the traditional women's four-way was one of the named television dynamites, not a pay-per-view. Mm-hmm. Like it may have been like a thing that they did at fucking Winter is Coming or something. Or one of those. Maybe not that one specifically. You get Spring Bash, whatever the fuck they do. Fucking Tony's Tits extravaganza that they do it, whatever. But one of the named dynamites, I think that's where
sure.
they've been.
Okay, good.
Right?
We'll go with that. Yeah.
Well, we have to go listen to our video where we made fun of this shit the first time to see what we were previewing.
That's a video from a long time ago. That's like 3 or 4 years ago. This video
because they marketed that one as the traditional.
There was one where it showed up and they showed the match graphic and said, "Ah, yes, the traditional women's four-way. We all remember it from the original blank." And everybody went, "No, no, no,
and
no,
everyone
no,
was
no.
like, "Huh? What?
No.
What has there ever been? What? This is a thing? It's not a thing.
It's not a thing. Still not a thing." But prepare for like like Chris Statlander to get a pinfall, Takeshita to drag her off, and point,
or steal the pin.
Yeah, and Statlander's gonna say that was I could have won the match, and Takeshita says,
and push her, shove her.
Yeah,
but then they'll have another promo with fucking Lexi fucking Nair next week, and Statlander will have her arms crossed and she'll roll her eyes into the back of her head instead of just saying, "No, I had that match like
won.
You."
Yeah, I had that match won, and you cost me the match.
Yeah, just stop hanging around this person.
Hit her in the fucking head.
Give her a lariat and let's all move on.
Yeah, right. Get her in that little fucking package pile driver deal or whatever. Drop on her fucking neck and call it a day. We're good.
God. Remember when Harley Race had all his boys just jump the Barbarian on WCW Saturday Night? Like, we've had enough of you. You're out. And then, and Barbarian was like, "What? No!" And he tried to fight back, but they beat the shit out of him, gave him the pile driver. I think Orndorff gave him a pile driver, whoever it was. Just fucking beat her up and be done with this shit already.
Done.
What are we doing? What is her motivation to stay loyal to Hikaru
I
Shida?
have no idea.
What's the motivation? Like you
I will
brought
also
up
ask what AEW's motivation is to keep Hikaru Shida around, but regardless, yes. What is your motivation for Chris Statlander?
You brought up the bloodline. Okay, they're all related. I kind of get the motivation to why, like, from a kayfabe standpoint, like Jimmy and Jay are brothers. They're not going to give up on each other that easy. You see what? But
and that's a good point because Roman is their cousin. I don't know if you knew that, but they are brothers and Roman's their cousin. If you didn't know that,
yeah. But like Statlander and Shida, they have no allegiance to each other.
She could lariat her tomorrow and never think about her ever again, and her career will be in no way affected by the breaking up of her alliance with Hikaru Shida. But
yes, there's nothing there holding them together where Statlander could be like, "I need to give this a chance." No, this is a random fucking person who's just been annoying to you for the last 4 months.
Yeah, it's not the fucking Road Warriors breaking up and having to really think about, this is my partner that I've been on the road with for 15 years or whatever, and now I don't know.
This is going to change the course of my life and career if I attack Hawk right now. Right. This is not that.
It's a card sheet of Chris Taylor. Terrible story. Awful.
So every
bad. Week, it's the same thing every week. It's like, cuts her off, speaks in Japanese. It's
rolls
like, what are we
doing?
Storms
off.
Yeah.
She storms off and leaves her by herself in a hump. Yeah.
Fuck off.
Yeah, it's the shits. It's the drizzling shits.
God. All right. We got some Owen Hart Cup quarterfinal matches. I got a men's Owen Hart Cup quarterfinal. Samoa Joe versus Will Ospreay.
Could be great.
Could be really great.
Could be gimmicked up. I don't know.
Could be interesting. Yeah, that is my only... How badly are they trying to tell the story that Will's got to kind of break it all down to build it back up again?
Well,
he's going to win. He's going to win for the record, of course.
He cut the very confident promo last night. I'm rebuilt. This is the new me. Samoa Joe can fuck off. All that. So... But do the Ops and the Death Riders get involved? Do we have any of that? You know what I mean? So, I don't know.
But that should be pretty good, though. Bandito versus Swerve. This is also a men's Owen Hart Cup quarterfinal. They've been trying to make this thing into they're trying to get people to care about this. Man, nobody really gives a shit at all about this. Nobody gave a shit on Ring of Honor, and then they came out on Dynamite, and I can't tell if people just don't give a shit about Bandito or people are just kind of in between on this current Swerve thing or a little bit of both, but I don't know, man.
I talked about this on the Dynamite review, but nobody gave a shit about that segment last night. It had no heat. And it kind of took me back how little heat it had. There was this big spot where Bandito got the better of Swerve physically, and Nana did the shocked face, and you were supposed to react, and the commentators were reacting that way, and the crowd didn't react at all. Nobody cared. So I thought this would be built around the ROH title. I was obviously wrong about that. They just obviously don't care about that belt at all. It's just all about Swerve coming after Brody King's buddy, right? Like that's kind of the idea here. But yeah, it was heatless last night, but who knows? In New York, maybe it'll have some heat.
Yeah, it's just I think Bandito isn't like online. He's over, but I don't know if to like your normal AEW audience, anybody gives a fuck about Bandito. And it kind of sucks because he's the Ring of Honor champion, and you should, but we always talk about how Ring of Honor just basically does not exist in AEW canon. So it's very strange. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
I'm staying out of it because I used to talk about this all the time on the TV reviews, and everybody would get mad at me and get annoyed with me, but I'm just going to stay out of it when it comes to Bandito.
Athena versus Mina Shirakawa for the women's Owen Hart Cup quarterfinal. This man, do I need a 15-minute and 42-second Athena Mina Shirakawa match 3 hours into the show? I don't know.
We talk about this every time we do an instant reaction live. These pay-per-views are always one match too long.
And this is the match.
If you remove this 20 minutes from the pay-per-view, you might go from, man, that kind of became a slog, to, wow, that really felt like the right amount of time for the show. This match is going to be the one that causes the show to feel like it's too long. There is no fucking reason to have Athena versus Mina Shirakawa on this pay-per-view. None whatsoever. You can do this on the pre-show. You can do this on Dynamite next week. You can do it on Dynamite last night.
They want
you
the second
do it on
women's
Collision
match.
next week.
That's clear what they want here, which they feel is necessary. I do not think is necessary.
That's probably it.
It is 100%.
It's probably it. He doesn't want people to say, why is there only one women's match? You're right. Because this would have been Jamie Hayter versus Willow, right? Wasn't that the original match?
Yes, I think so.
If I'm not mistaken. Is Jamie Hayter facing the wild card? Is that who Willow's opponent was? I think it's Jamie.
Yes. Let me double check. No, Windsor. Windsor's going to face the wild card.
Okay. So whoever Willow was facing, I think was going to be this match. But there's no reason. You don't have to replace it with Athena versus Mina Shirakawa.
Nobody needs him.
It's not a fucking pay-per-view match. Rich, that match is going to come on, and we're going to be like, all right, come on already.
Yeah, and it's going to go 16:51, like I said, and it's going to be Athena's going to do her long-ass entrance, and you're going to be like, all right, and then dun, 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 dun. Mina's going to be dancing, you're going to be just going nuts. Yeah.
Dance on the ramp, swinging her forearm around, the little wrist dance that she does.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it just doesn't need to be on here.
No.
There's always one match that you don't need,
Yeah.
Tony. Tony, you don't need all these matches. There's plenty of matches on here. We don't need to shoehorn
We're well
this in.
served. We are well served, sir.
We're well served in the tennis center. We're served very well. Pun absolutely intended.
Final two matches. AEW Continental Championship. The match will have no time limit. Jon Moxley versus Kyle O'Reilly. I'm really looking forward to this. I think it's going to be really awesome. These guys left to their own devices, no time limit. Obviously, you could tell on Dynamite that match was going the time limit. It's one of those ones where, like, the second they hit the ring, you're like, yeah, this thing's going the time limit for sure. But Moxley O'Reilly, no time limit on pay-per-view, I think could be pretty fucking awesome. Moxley clearly, loves working with O'Reilly. O'Reilly usually steps up in pretty big spots too. So I'm looking forward to this. I think it's going to be a really, really, really good match. So something on the show that I am I think Moxley's going to ultimately get the win here. But I mean, it's not impossible that O'Reilly beats him.
Kyle tapped him twice last year, and Moxley was saved by the bell last night. So it's a very good story of here you have Moxley, this Continental Champion, pretty dominant at that. But this guy has his number. This guy has Mox figured out. And Mox knows he would have lost last night if not for the time limit. Kyle O'Reilly knows he would have won if not for the time limit.
Yep.
So Mox has to figure this out. And he was very manic in his promo with Renee, where he was saying that I'm glad that Kyle's pushing me. I'm glad, but he's not. Like he's trying to convince himself that this is a good thing for him, but he doesn't think that he could beat this guy. So this is just very well done. And this is my cup of tea, more so than the goofy Jericho Young Bucks shit or, the Sheeta Statlander garbage. This right here is my cup of tea. Very just simple and solid pro wrestling storytelling. And can Moxley figure this guy out? Or is he fucked with no time limit? Because he cannot be saved. So, yeah, very much looking forward to this.
Good meat and potatoes wrestling, like you said.
Yeah.
Like it's all like, the past results matter. The time limit has mattered. Like different, like little things. The little things in wrestling can go such a long way, and I think they've done a great job with those little things in this match and in this story here. So I'm really looking forward to this. Should be a lot of fun. And then your main event, which I think's got a decent amount of hype coming around it. We didn't talk about the tickets. I think you touched on it at the beginning of the Thursday Dynamite review.
I talked about it in the Dynamite review. Yeah.
Okay. I didn't listen to the whole thing, but I thought you covered it at the beginning, right?
They got over 14,000 tickets out. It's going to be the second highest gate in American history for AEW. Obviously, you throw some of the international shows out. This will be second only to Arlington in terms of gate, because obviously they had, 26,000, 25,000 in Arlington, whatever that was, paid. Didn't they say there were over 30 in the building, but it was like 24 paid?
It was like
whatever
24,
it was.
yeah. 22 or 24, somewhere in that range, I thought.
This will have, 13, 14 paid. They might be able to, I don't know how many more people they could squeeze in that tennis building. Right now, they've got over 14,000 tickets distributed. So the show is going to be a massive success from a business standpoint. And we'll see what the pay-per-view buys, if that comes out, positive as well. I would suspect it would. I think people are really buying into the hair stipulation for MJF. I think he has effectively gotten that over.
Yes.
And it's just one of those things in pro wrestling where you have to accept that within the kayfabe of pro wrestling, losing your hair is just the ultimate humiliation. And obviously they've gotten that over in Mexico for decades upon decades, and it works there. America, it's hit or miss because I think it's done for comedy too often.
I would say right now in America, they've gotten it over as a big deal, but they've gotten it over as a big deal as like fans are going to chant bald and laugh at the guy as opposed to like, there's a little, it's interesting. In Mexico, it feels more like a humiliation, and in past times in America, it has been humiliation. But I think, honestly, more times in America, it's probably just been played for laughs.
Played for comedy. Yeah. It's an undercard thing as opposed to the main event of a fucking anniversary show in Arena Mexico. This one they've gotten over. Now, there's a dose of comedy involved with MJF's, the stuff he's doing on social media and making fun of him going to Turkey and all of those things. But, they've gotten it over. They've gotten the stip over. At one point, I thought this would 100% be an MJF title win. I'm not at 100% anymore. I do think there's a chance that he gets the head shaved. I still think he should be a heavy favorite. I just, that, if you asked me a couple weeks ago, I'd say he's 100% winning it back. I'd be more like 80% right now. And I've enjoyed the Darby title reign, but I'm also ready for it to end.
His title reign it's one of those ones that you want to end it before it gets too long in the tooth, and there is you run the risk of another month of Darby Allin title defenses on. I don't know that. Right now it's fine.
We're running out of guys.
Right. Right now it's all great. It's been great. Make no question about it. It's been awesome. Every single week he goes out there. Well, not even every single show he goes out there and he wrestles his ass off and he has a great match or whatever. I'm not complaining about any of that at all. But you want to have the title switch happen at the apex of that and not okay, we're, God, is it, Forbidden Doors in June? And we say, oh, God, I don't know that we were going to get that way with Darby Allin's title reign, but you want to, and that's the art of wrestling right there. And that's why, bookers get paid the big bucks is when is it at its apex? That's when you should end it. Not, okay, it's high over here, but we can wait 2 more weeks or 3 more weeks or 4 more weeks or 5 more weeks. And you run the risk of waiting too long. And I do think that maybe we're right at the point where everybody really appreciates this Darby title reign. Everybody has had a lot of fun with it. There's been a lot of really good matches, but we know that it's kind of this diversion and let's get on with what we're going to do because you have Forbidden Door coming up and that's whatever. But you have Wembley coming up, and I think that's where we really need to start establishing what's going to be happening at Wembley, who some of the top matches are, because you got to get people in that building. You got to start selling some tickets to that. So that's where I do wonder if it is now time to go to MJF and then start really putting the signs together of, okay, it's going to be MJF versus Will, or it's going to be MJF versus whoever in the main event of Wembley. I think I want to start. And now you're not going to know that main event for quite a while because obviously but you want to start hinting. You want to let the fans know that, okay, with a ticket buying fan, I'm going to probably assume that I'm going to get MJF versus this guy in the main event for this title or whatever. You want to start getting to that level at some point pretty soon. And I think the Darby thing we all recognize as kind of a distraction. I can't imagine most people think that Darby is going to go into Wembley as champion. Who knows? I just don't. I don't think so. I think we're right at that point. We're right at the point where I think I'm ready to move it off of him. But look, if they have a good story to tell and MJF's willing to lose his hair, that'd be a monumental moment and a really cool win for Darby. So I wouldn't hate that. I just don't know. I think the time is right to move that title back to MJF.
I think the story is right there. Darby is worn out from being a fighting champion, and and he can't overcome the attrition. On top of the fact that MJF will obviously do something nefarious on top of that. And he gets his title back and avoids losing his hair. But, I'm a little less certain now. And I'll tell you, the betting odds, MJF's a favorite, but he's only 2-1. He's minus 200.
Interesting.
And Darby's plus 150. Those are slim odds. I thought MJF would be minus 1,000. So, I don't know. They've got the same doubts that I have. So we'll see. I don't know. As I said, I think we've peaked on the Darby fighting champion thing. It's who are we going to send out? Are we going to send Ace Austin out there? I mean, we're running out of people.
Yeah.
I mean, who else is he going to defend against? Are we going to have him run through the entire fucking roster? I mean, he's had 7 or 8 of these title defenses already. I just think it's time.
It is time for the Captain Sean Dean to get his chance. He has been asking for it for a while. So
it's I think it's time to get back on track with the serious business of the company, and that means putting the title back on MJF. But they've been real tricky with this belt over the last year or so with decisions that you don't see coming. So I don't know.
Yeah, I like that. There's a fun aspect to that I would love to come on here and say, yeah, 100% MJF's going to win, but I don't think it's 100%. And I think that's interesting and that's fun to me that I don't really, that I'm not 100% there. I think I'm probably, if I was a betting man, if I had to bet, I would say MJF is going to win, but 2-1, that's about where I'm at right now is like, yeah, I think MJF is going to win, but I think there's a definite possibility Darby wins and MJF gets his head shaved.
Well, I want MJF to win, really, just so Roosh doesn't get his title shot next week.
Poor guy. He's finally moved up the imaginary rankings. It's his time.
Did you know he won again on ROH tonight?
Yes. Did he cut the promo?
Yeah. He said, if you mess with the bull, you get the horns.
The horns. The horns.
The horns. He said it.
Who did he beat on ROH?
You expect me to know that information?
Oh, I thought you were watching. I thought you were locked in.
No, I saw the tweets.
Let's see
that he was
Ring of Honor here.
That he was in action tonight.
Ryan O'Neal. He beat Ryan O'Neal.
Another top contender. He took out another.
Take that, Ryan O'Neal.
Top contender. Now, first of all, should this man even be in position for a title shot?
I don't think so. He's beaten. He's beaten Adam Priest, which whatever.
No. Garbage.
Stephen Fuerte, Manny Lowe, LSG, Ryan O'Neal, and TJ Crawford. No. Dante Leone? No. Anthony Bowens? No. What are we doing here?
I don't think the man deserves a title shot, if we're being honest. I want this to go on forever. I want MJF to win the title on Sunday, and then Roosh to approach him and go, "You mess with the bull, you get the horns." And MJF to say, "I didn't promise you anything. Get out of here."
Yeah, who are you?
Right? Hit the bricks. You've beaten TJ Crawford and Ryan O'Neal. I'm not interested.
I don't give a fuck.
And then just for this to go on, just keep beating jobbers, keep running those pre-tapes with Roosh, and he never gets his title shot. I think that would be very funny and a very good thing to do.
This was the thing that, when people didn't understand the rankings.
Yeah.
This was one of the key things. Like, a guy would win a bunch of matches, and they'd be like, "Hey, he won 7 matches in a row. Why is he not getting a title shot?" And it's like, well, because he's beating Manny Lowe and LSG or whatever, because these people don't watch sports. And it's like, yeah, you can have teams that are undefeated in college football, but they're facing a bunch of goobers, then no, they're not going to move up the ladder that quickly just because they've won 7 games in a row when it's all been, Miami of Ohio in college basketball this year, perfect example of undefeated season. And it was like, yeah, but a bunch of fucking jobbers. You guys faced Incarnate World and a bunch of these other hanger-on schools. No, you don't get to fucking be the number 1 team in the nation because you're 33-0 or whatever the fuck. But people couldn't understand that. They didn't watch real sports. So
yeah,
caused a lot of issues at the time. So yeah, I think he's got to take on better opponents. He's got to tell the booking committee, the booking office, look, do I love running through, Stephen Fuerte in a minute 39? I do, but I need, move me up the ladder a little bit here. Let's
get me in there with a speedball Mike Bailey.
Right. Yeah, if I beat Speedball, then we could start talking. But yeah, right now, Ryan O'Neal. I mean, come on.
Yeah. Well, I think MJF will win. And I think Roosh will not be getting his title shot.
Those Hearns. MJF will not be getting the Hearns.
He'll not be getting the Hearns. Right.
So that is Double or Nothing. Again, as we said, Instant Reaction Live coming up this Sunday following the show. $10 tier, flagship, patreon.com. All right, let's get to 2 more topics to talk about here tonight on the show. Which way do you want to go? Do you want to talk about the Champion Carnival, or do you want to talk about Ring of Honor Supercard of Honor?
Let's do the Ring of Honor.
All right, let's talk about Ring of Honor Supercard of Honor, which I will say I thought this show was the fucking shits. This show sucked. I hated Supercard of Honor 2026. Hated it.
Really?
I thought it was a terrible show, boring as fuck. 3 Pure Rules matches that were all boring as hell. A crowd that didn't care about anybody. An ROH World Title match that went way too long, and a fucking plunder-filled, annoyingly long women's survival of the fittest main event. I did not like the show at all.
Yeah, this show was not good. Very boring show. Heatless. And why would it have any heat? Because nobody cares about or watches ROH. The 3 Pure Rules matches was just too much. It's just too much. The women's pure title, first of all, doesn't even need to exist.
God.
But it's just there to give Deonna Purrazzo something to do.
That's what this whole show, that's what Ring of Honor is right now, is a show for people that Tony doesn't want to fire, so he just stuffs them on Ring of Honor.
Yeah, it's...
up and down this card.
I talked a lot about what is ROH and who's it for when I did the previews behind the paywall. I talked about it a lot. They don't promote the shows. They didn't talk about these shows at all on TV. They didn't give anybody any promo time. They didn't build any of the matches on TV. So it's like you're not even trying to sell the show. And nobody watches the dopey TV but on the Watch ROH or the ROHWrestling.com, whatever the fuck it's called. So as a result, none of the matches have any heat. You know, you had 1,300 people there who bought tickets. I bet you most of them didn't know what matches were going to be on the show. They just came to watch a wrestling show. So therefore, nothing had heat because nobody was familiar with any of the builds. Some of the matches didn't have a build to begin with. Some of the matches weren't made until the night before. And then the matches just weren't very good.
No.
That's the other thing.
A lot of lazy work and just mundane, boring,
dull.
lazy, dull work the whole night.
Nothing was particularly bad, but nothing was all that was very good either. It was just dull. You know, and it's just this, by far the least interesting of the ROH pay-per-views since Tony has taken over. And I just don't know. I don't understand where we're going with this. What the point of it is. It felt they spent more time building to Collision the next night than they did building anything moving forward for ROH. It seemed like after every match, we were doing a backstage promo with somebody challenging somebody for Collision. I mean, here's the thing. If you're enough of a sicko to be watching ROH Supercard of Honor on Friday night, chances are you're already going to be watching.
You're probably
Collision.
locked in. Yeah, you're probably
That's
not
someone
like,
who's not missing Collision.
Nah, maybe I will
Yes.
stay home on Saturday and watch Collision. Like you're home watching Ring of Honor on Friday night. You're probably
watching
staying home
Collision
watching
the next
Collision.
night.
Yeah, right.
I don't know how hard you had to sell Collision to these viewers who were watching.
Honey, we don't have plans for tomorrow night, do we? All right, good. Yeah, I gotta watch Collision. Lexi Nair just had
Right.
a really good segment here with these two lads. I gotta make sure I'm home for this. Yeah,
but they spent so much time building Collision. There was no heat for anything. They plugged Collision more on this pay-per-view than the pay-per-view was plugged on their TV. Without question. They did more to build Collision here than any of these matches were built on the actual TV. And then none of the matches were really any good, and there was no heat, and it was just a very boring show. Just extremely boring. So, I don't know. I mean, how can you... Did you come out of this thinking, man, I need more ROH in my life?
No, quite the contrary. I basically, I'm at a point now where, and I did a study, and I'm going to do this, and then we'll talk about the show. I wanted to look at, because I said, like, Ring of Honor is basically just what it should be. In some of our heads, I think we think of Ring of Honor as, like, a developmental company for AEW. You know, they put people down there and they season them, and then they move up and they're ready for AEW. They don't really do that. Like you basically get put in Ring of Honor. It's this land of misfit toys, people that Tony doesn't want to fire, but he likes, or enough people like, so he doesn't want to send them packing or whatever. So he just stuffs them in Ring of Honor endlessly. But this roster is old as fuck, and you might not realize it until you really break it down. But here, I did it for you. So Nigel McGuinness. Now that's fine. Like Nigel's whatever. He's 50 years old. I'm that whatever. That I don't really count that.
Part-timer.
Like, yeah,
just
it's fine.
Commentator. Yeah.
Josh Woods is 36. I mean, what are we doing with Josh Woods here? We're good, right? Like, come on. Red Velvet is 34 years old.
Wow.
Viva Van is 33 years old. It fucking sucks. It's terrible.
She's pretty bad.
She's bad.
She's pretty bad.
AR Fox is 38, but he's a spry 38. He's as good as he ever was. It's fine. Leo Rush is actually 31 now. I can't believe we've been doing the Leo Rush is so young for so long. The man is actually 31 now. And he's doing the Blackheart thing, and I got no time for any of that. Deonna Purrazzo is 31 years old. Diamante is 34. Lee Moriarty is 30. If you're noticing, yes, nobody is in their 20s yet. Ace Austin's our first guy that's in his 20s. He's 29. Dalton Castle's 40. Truth Magnum or whatever the fuck is 40. Turbo Floyd is 37. Carly Bravo, I don't have an age for him, but I know he's not 24 years old. I believe he's in his late 30s. Shane Taylor is 40 years old. Sean Dean is 40. Mark Davis is 35. Shelwa is 22. Shelwa was the youngest man on the show. I think he was the youngest. Yeah, he's the youngest guy on the show. Bandito's 31. Blake Christian's 28. Athena is 37 years old. Billy Starks is 21, but no years are going to make her any better. Maya World's 23. The women's match actually had some young wrestlers. I'll give them credit there. Trish Adora is 37 years old.
Right.
Yuka Sakazaki is 33, and Zeta Steel is 22.
Your point here is this is not a developmental brand.
No.
This is just a roster of wrestlers who are like in their primes or slightly past their primes.
But are not good enough, or Tony doesn't like them enough
Tony
to put them on
doesn't want to
AEW
put
TV.
on TV.
Right, yeah.
This isn't, ROH isn't this bastion of people in their mid-20s who Tony is letting cook before he brings them up to the main roster. That's not what's happening.
Right. It's not Tommy Billington isn't like a featured act in Ring of Honor that's winning the world title or whatever. If that was happening, I'd tell you, yes, we're definitely doing that. We're definitely, building up the next generation. Yeah, we're not doing that. We have Josh Woods and Shane Taylor and Trish Adora and these like people that are in their 40s.
He just doesn't want to put on TV.
Right.
So then it begs the question, then what is this? Is it just a housing area for people you have under contract who you don't want to put in AEW or who you don't have a spot for in AEW because they don't promote it super hard to where it feels like they're trying to make any money off of it? Because as I said, there was zero promotion for Bandito versus Blake Christian across AEW television. None. When did Blake Christian come on TV and cut a 30-second promo talking about his world title match on the pay-per-view, and you better not miss it on watchroh.com. You can watch for just $9.99. No, they didn't try to sell the fucking show at any point.
Tony used to do that, and then dumb people made fun of him for it, so then he stopped. And then it's like, well, what are we doing here?
I don't know if that's why he stopped. If it is, it's pretty dumb to listen to bad faith critics. If I owned this thing, I would try to get as many people to pay to watch it as I could.
Seems like an interesting strategy. Okay.
Why do I even have to say that? Like, they didn't promote the show at all. When we started previewing the show last week, you brought it up, and then I did a couple different segments. I watched the Go Home TV. I reviewed it behind the paywall. I did a big preview of the show. I spent 90 minutes previewing this show behind the paywall one day last week. And it's like the feedback we were getting from our listeners was that they had no idea the show was even happening. They didn't know the show was happening. These are people that watch AEW every week. These are people that are deep in the weeds enough to pay us to cover wrestling. They didn't know the show was happening. A large portion of our listeners. That's crazy. They're like Tony Khan's prime customer base. They didn't know what was happening.
Right.
They weren't even given an opportunity to say, hey, you know what? Blake Christian, undefeated in ROH, big time world title match. You know what? I'm going to plunk down my $9.99. They didn't even have a chance because if it wasn't for us, they wouldn't have known the show was happening. And so if you're not going to put effort behind it, you're not going to try to sell the shows. The shows are going to be dry as a bone like this one was. What is this thing? If it's not developmental, so then what the fuck is it? What is this? It's just a blob of fucking wrestlers going out there having, 2 3/4 star matches.
Yeah. For 5 hours. 5 hour fucking show.
Yeah. Oh my God. And of course it's a Tony Khan pay-per-view, so it has to be fucking 5 hours long. And we talked about this the last time we talked about ROH. Tony, AEW, all right, fine, whatever. ROH can be 2.5 hours in and out. No one's going to complain.
No.
We're paying $9.99 for it. The people who have my AEW are paying nothing for it. It comes with the fucking service. 2.5 hours, bud, in and out. That's all we need. He added that 6-man title match to the show. Why?
No.
Why did you add that?
It was so bad, too. It's so long.
Now, they did a title change, and I guess that's why they put it on the show.
17 minutes and 46 seconds.
But it was just to shoot an angle with Mark Briscoe, really. It's like, it just didn't need to be 4 or 5 hours. Was it really 5? It was 3-hour pay-per-view. The pre-show was only an hour, right? Not 2 hours.
Yeah, I think the video
4 hours?
file was, like 5:40, but that
hours.
was with preview shit and stuff. So, yeah.
You might be an hour extra on that. Can we check that? I think it was 4 hours long.
Okay.
Was it really 5 hours?
I think it was 5. If you got the 0 hour, I think it was 5 hours.
Wait, the main show was 4 hours long? That's diabolical. Did I really?
Well, someone can look it up if they want. But
now, when I watched it,
the match times are long as fuck, man. The opener was 15. Red Velvet and Viva Van was 11:19. Air Fox and Leo Rush was 15:41. Deonna Purrazzo, and by the way, there's promos happening in between all these matches with fucking Lexi Nair backstage. 13 minutes for Deonna Purrazzo Diamante, 16 minutes for Lee Moriarty Ace Austin, 17:46 for the World Six-Man Tag. Shelwa Mark Davis was 14:14. Bandito Blake Christian was 26, and the Survival of the Fittest main event was 26.
Oh my God, it was 5 hours. I just looked it up.
It feels like too much. Too much Ring of Honor.
Yeah. I'm on watchroh.com.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Legal. The legal way to view it. And the file is 5 hours. Mm-hmm. Holy shit. It really was. Now, when I put the show on to watch it on Monday or whatever it was, it really did. I wasn't watching the clock, but fuck, it felt like it took all goddamn day and night to get through the show. So you're right. It was 5 hours. Crazy. There's no reason on this planet Earth that an ROH show needs to be 5 hours long. I mean, it's ridiculous. Did you even watch the pre-show or did you just skip?
Fuck no. No. I didn't know how much time I was going to have this week to watch stuff. So I jumped right to the show. And then when the show was over, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna let Joe handle Sammy Guevara and Action Andretti and Rush versus LSG. So, no, I did not watch the pre-show, but you can clue me in if you want.
We're told on Friday that the show ended after midnight Eastern time.
Oh, God.
Live. I mean, come on, it's Ring of Honor, man. Started at 7 and get us out by 9:30. Right? That's all we need. Especially if it's not going to be good.
Right. I would just have it be good if you're going to do that. But yeah, having it be bad and take 5 hours, that seems like a bad idea. I wouldn't do that.
So I really didn't like any match on this show.
That's what my review was too. My favorite match is like the most begrudging, like Air Fox and Leo Rush is by far my favorite match of the night, and I did not like it at all.
Yeah, I thought that they did the finish with lights, camera, action, Andretti. Because they kind of broke up that tag team unceremoniously, so they paid that off, and he kind of cost Leo Rush the match, right? So Leo Rush, Blackheart, and
yeah.
Lights, Camera, Action are going to have a feud now, I guess, because they used to be the COVID-19 team. But yeah, the match was all right. Like, look, like I said, nothing was like, well, I don't want to say nothing was bad.
Yeah, hold on.
But I thought Mark Davis Shelwa was fine.
Yeah.
I thought Bandito Blake Christian was fine. Too long.
Yeah, too long.
Yeah, too long.
But he hit the 21 plex perfectly. So
well,
credit
he did
to
the
Blake
deadlift
Christian.
version again. I'm telling you, that deadlift version is the key. Since he's been doing it with the guy flat down on the mat, for whatever reason, he's been doing it cleaner than when he does it when the
I thought he did the real one. I think he did the real one, the other one with Blake, and it worked out too. I'd have to go back, but I would never go back. So
my
maybe
notes say deadlift, and I remember him doing the deadlift.
Okay,
so.
I thought he did the other one, but either way, I'm glad that it worked out.
And then Swerve attacked him afterwards, which is what I pitched. A lot of people thought Swerve was going to cost them the title. And I'm like, they're not going to put the title on Blake Christian. That's a bridge too far. So I was like, why can't Swerve just attack him after the match? And that's the way they did it. So it makes the title feel even less important that
Yes.
Swerve has no interest in it.
Has zero interest in it. Not like he didn't attack Bandito and say, you know what? I'm going to take this from you. You know, I'm going to beat you in the Owen Hart Cup final, and then after that, I want to chance at your Ring of Honor. He's just like, no, I don't care about your dopey developmental title or whatever the fuck. Yeah, so, what are we doing? Yeah, this title is so utterly meaningless in the canon of the company. It's wild.
When I thought Swerve would be going after it, people were like, why would Swerve want that? I was like, that's the point.
The point is, yes, make the title matter by giving it to a guy that's a star.
So that you're not thinking that anymore. You know what I mean? Like, put it on, but they don't have any interest in doing it. And I hated the main event so much.
Oh my God.
This survival of the fittest with the 6 women. I don't know why they called it Survival of the Fittest. This was just another run-of-the-mill multi-person plunder match where people are just using weapons.
The great trash can, kendo sticks, the whole 9 yards.
Tables. Yuka Sakazaki just chilling out in the corner, watching people attack each other with weapons. I hated this so much.
It's so bad.
And like every Athena match, it's way too long.
Yeah.
Even this was way too long. Even, and I know you didn't. I watched the go home, the Supercard special, whatever the fuck it was called, that they ran on Thursday night. You are never going to fucking believe this, but the go home angle for this match was Athena bullying Billy Starks.
No, no way.
And being like, you're just a minion. You do what you're told. Blah, blah, blah. Like running her down.
God.
And then she leaves the scene and Billy's sitting there like stewing, like, one of these days.
Yeah, Billy, please.
It's been 3 years.
Right. Just punch her. Just fucking punch her already. What are we doing?
You were literally a junior in high school when this started. It's been like 3 years. Not one of these days. You're never doing it. They're still doing this story.
It's ridiculous.
The go-home angle for this match was Athena bullying the minion Billy Starks. Still, 3 years on. When the first match they had, Billy should have won. Then they ran it back a year later at Final Battle, and she lost again. And that was already past the peak.
That was already a year past the peak, yes.
That was a year past the peak. Now we're
2 years?
4 years.
I think we're 3 or 4 years past the peak at this point.
This is year 4, Rich. It's year 4.
Fucking utterly ridiculous.
It's year 4. Who could possibly care? Nobody cares. You can't convince. No one cares about Billy Starks and Athena at this point, and they're still doing it. God, did this match suck? Just a 6-person plunder match.
Just
with
plunder.
elimination
Yeah,
rules.
I just don't need to see. And like the silver trash can filled with junk. It's like, what are we fucking doing here, man? It's ridiculous. Yeah, nobody looked good. Everybody looked dumb. Like, fucking, I don't know. Yeah, whatever.
So the 6-man tag that they added to the show, because it always has to be at least one match too long if it's Tony Khan. They did that so the conglomeration comes down. And they cost Shane Taylor Promotions the belt or whatever. Dalton Castle and the Outrunners win. And then later in the show, Shane Taylor Promotions are doing a promo in the back. And they're like, they want to know why the conglomeration was there to begin with. And I was thinking to myself, that's a good question. Why were the conglomeration
what are you
there?
doing? Why was Orange Cassidy in the house? Yeah.
Why was Mark Briscoe and Orange Cassidy and these people, why were they there to cost Shane? Because they were building something for they ran a fucking pay-per-view
This is a go-home show for
to a collision.
Go-home show for Collision. Yeah.
This is so ass backwards. For people who undoubtedly are going to watch Collision anyway. If you're cracking your knuckles for Deonna Purrazzo versus Diamante in a Pure Rules match on a Friday night, you are watching Collision on Saturday.
You are at home on your couch watching Collision live on Saturday for sure.
100% of those people are watching Collision. Lee Moriarty versus Ace Austin. So I liked what they did here, where the story was Ace Austin was not an expert in the Pure Rules the way that Moriarty is, and he used up his 2 rope breaks real fast, and they only had 1 left. And one of the times, Moriarty forced him into the ropes and forced him to use the rope break, right? So that was kind of the story, and that's kind of how it all played out. Like, Lee Moriarty just had more experience in the rules, and that's why he beat Ace Austin, who I believe was previously undefeated in ROH. So that match wasn't that bad. I mean, I can't recommend it to anybody, but it was fine.
Of the Pure Rules matches, I think that was the best one.
Probably was 3. The best one, yeah.
Deonna and Diamante was terrible. They couldn't
sucked.
do anything.
Oh,
they was
my God,
falling over
sucked.
each other the whole time. And
yeah, I don't know. Like, I'm not going to say anything. And Nigel and Josh Woods, it's like they were goofing around. I didn't even think they took it seriously. They were like, they put the commentary headsets on.
Yeah. Oh my God. When they did that, I was like, fuck off. Like that's what we're doing in the opener is like they're grappling a little bit, and then Nigel gets on the headset and he goes, "Oh yeah, lads, this is going exactly how I thought it would go." And then Josh Woods is like, "No, it's not going how I thought it was going to go." And then the referee grabs the headset and goes, "Get in the ring, guys." And I'm like, "What are we doing here?"
I'm like, "Oh, great. We're doing comedy in a pure rules match
the opener
to open the show."
The opener.
Well, okay, you got to set that aside because then you were immediately treated to Red Velvet versus Viva Van for the ROH Women's World Television title.
Viva Van, man. I don't know. What is this? What are we doing here with Viva Van? I mean, she, at one point, and I counted it took her 12 steps to go from the middle of the ring, off the ropes, back to the middle of the ring again. That's Becky Lynch level tiptoes in the ring. She was so horrible. She moves so slow, like fucking molasses in this ring. Awful. And Red Velvet, I mean, bless her soul, but yeah, she's not great. So
we had Sammy challenge Darby for Collision.
Mm-hmm.
We had Red Velvet challenge Willow for Collision. We had the STP challenge the Conglomeration
it was
for
a go-home
Collision.
show for Collision.
It's a go-home show for Collision. Now, hey, listen, the Kingdom came back.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, then I was compiling this roster is way too old list, and as I was doing that, all of a sudden I hear, "Hey, Melvins," and I'm like, "Oh, no, what?" And I look at my screen, and there's fucking Matt Taven and Mike Bennett.
Hey, Melvins!
I'm like, good Lord, this is what we need. Is this really what we need on Ring of Honor? Is the fucking Matt Taven? And God damn it. Oh, Jesus Christ. Well.
Yeah. Hey, Melvins.
I don't know if that's an exact quote, but
I'm sure he said it. He had to have said it. He did call Busta and the Brain Melvins in the promo.
Okay.
I know that.
Right, yeah.
For sure. So
Busta and the Brain's a great example of if those guys were competing with Tommy Billington for like the world title in our ring. Okay, then that's now I'm seeing
promotion.
Right, I'm seeing the idea here is okay. What do we have out of Oliver? What do we have out of Price? What do we have out of Billington? We're going to put these guys in singles matches that go 20 minutes so we can see how they can handle that. Yes. But no, we don't do that. We have Price and Oliver in tag team match. We know they're good tag team wrestlers. They're fine. They can do tag team. They've been doing that for years. They can do it on Ring of Honor. They can do it on AEW. We know that. Billington, we see Billington and Priest sometimes, and that's the extent. That's what I'm saying. Like if those guys were being pushed commodities on this show, whether that be good or whatever, I would at least know the concept. I would know what we're doing here with Ring of Honor. Having Matt Taven, Michael Bennett, Bandito, and Shane Taylor, and Viva Van, and Deanna Pratt, like, it's just, yeah.
Josh Woods.
Yeah, I don't know anymore.
Josh Woods, we got to shit or get off the pot. I mean, the guy was in ROH forever. He's been here forever. If you don't think he's that good, then what are we doing? Give the spot to somebody else. Why didn't Adam Priest or Tommy Billington work this show instead of some of these? I see what you're saying. It's definitely not a developmental promotion. That's not what it is. You can't call it that. Just look at the roster.
So it's just a land of misfit toys that he doesn't want to fire. So great, whatever. Yeah.
Pretty much. And then if the shows aren't going to be good, then that's just forget it. Like, why would I look forward to this? Why would I watch it next week? Why would I keep my subscription going? Why would I do any of those things? You told me on this show that Collision's more important than the show I was watching anyway.
All right.
So, yeah, no, it just wasn't a good show. Very disappointing. It doesn't bode well for, and it doesn't seem like he's trying too hard to get a media rights deal either. That's the other weird thing. So it's just bizarre. The whole thing is strange.
This is the first time I really watched a Ring of Honor show and just really felt like a sense of dread.
Wasting your time.
Yeah, like a real waste of my time. Like because a lot of times these end up being pretty good. We laugh about the TV show or whatever, but the pay-per-views, this was by far the worst pay-per-view of the Tony Khan era, and just a real like I'm wasting my time watching this. Like, who is this for, and why am I supposed to be watching this? Is kind of what I felt like I was asking myself constantly throughout the show.
And they keep putting Athena in the main events over Bandito because of this idea that she's had the title so long, but no one fucking cares anymore. No one has given a shit about Athena's title reign for like 3 years. I mean, who talks about it? At one time, it had real buzz. It doesn't have any buzz anymore. No one cares. There's a variety of factors for why, but no one cares. Just have Billy Starks beat her already and put her on Dynamite. What are we doing?
And no one's going to care either. And that's the other problem, too. When you make a title reign this long, it becomes more of a, okay, when are we going to? Because they had it. They had the first time. God, I can't believe we're talking. Final Battle 2023 or whatever the fuck. Like, they had it. They had it exactly at that moment where it was a long title reign, but people were accepting of the fact that Billy was going to finally, break out of the shadow and win the title. And then it didn't happen. And then it didn't happen the year after.
You could pull that tape.
We
talked about it.
Yeah, it was terrible idea at the time and a worse idea a year later, and now it's like,
believe that Athena won that Final Battle match, and then the next year we're like, oh, surely they missed it by a year, and then she lost again.
Worse yet, if you remember after that match, Athena stuck her hand out and Billy Stark's like, yeah, I am a minion, and it was like, oh, okay, so this is just
a waste
just
of everybody's
shitting on
time.
me. Yeah, you're just pissing on me. Yeah, fuck this. Yeah,
and
pissing away
now
this whole
if she
story.
does, and now if she does eventually beat her, it's not going to have any impact. No one's going to care. No one's going to care.
No one's going to care if anybody beats Athena at this point. It's gone on too long. No one
cares.
Run that risk of if a title goes on too long, it just becomes an afterthought, and it's just like nobody
it's
even.
Not interesting,
right.
And it hasn't been interesting. That's the thing. Like if it's been interesting this whole time, that's another story. But they haven't been, because how can it be if no one's paying attention to any of this? It's just a mess. I mean, it's just I don't know. I'll see you in 3 months at fucking Death Before Dishonor or whatever the fuck the next one of these things is. I don't even know. What do they do that? Like, what's the next one?
The next one would be, so this is what, Supercard of Honor. The next one would be, I think, Death Before Dishonor, right? Isn't that how it usually?
I don't know what he does. I know he does Final Battle. I know he does one. The fuck does he do?
I think Death Before Dishonor would usually be, that's usually like August, July, somewhere in that range. So I guess that would be the next.
Yeah, last year he did Death Before Dishonor at the end of August. So that would be next, I guess. And then from there it would be Final Battle. And then what's he do? 3 a year now, I guess? It's only 3 a year? Yeah. He does Supercard, Death Before Dishonor, and Final Battle. That's it. Wasn't he doing one during he stopped doing the WrestleMania weekend one? That's what it was. It was
a Supercard of Honor.
Oh, he just kind of moved it a couple months.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, right.
So there was never a fourth one. I thought there was a fourth one. I guess not. I guess just been those three.
Yeah, Supercard of Honor, Final Battle. Yeah.
So he does 3 a year, which is kind of weird. Yeah, he's always done those 3. So see you at Death Before Dishonor, I guess.
All right. Can't wait. Can't wait. Athena versus fucking Mina Shirakawa or something. All right. Can't wait. Yeah. All right. Let's talk about, you know what I can wait for? I can't wait to talk about the Champion Carnival finals, All Japan Pro Wrestling.
Yeah.
3,055 in the building. Now, it's got a new name, but this is the old Ota City General Gymnasium. It's called like a Barra Wave Arena Ota, but it was the same place.
Sponsor.
Yeah. So initially when I was doing this research, I was like, oh, well, it's a different building. No. Same building. So last year, the Champion Carnival Finals, Joe, 2,280. This year, 3,055. So
that's a big jump.
Give yourself a pat on the back, All Japan Pro Wrestling, for Hideki Suzuki. We got to apologize to Hideki Suzuki. And this is where I mentioned at the top of the show. You live long. What's the idiom? You live long enough to become your enemy, or what's I don't forget.
Yeah, you start off a douchebag, but you live long enough to become a scumbag or something like that.
Whatever the hell. Well, we would throw down for days on end with the Hideki Suzuki perverts in 2014. Sure. It's 2026, and goddamn it, Joe.
Have you turned around on him like I have?
I have. I'm a full-on Hideki Suzuki pervert. He's like my
been
favorite
great.
thing in wrestling. Is he like in that main event with it's him versus Go Shiozaki. We'll talk about the whole show in a minute, but he just spends a minute clubbing Go Shiozaki's ribs and stomach with elbows nonstop, and I'm just like, this guy fucking rocks. Like this is everything that I want out of wrestling. He gets up. Go Shiozaki is just fucking his nose is bloody and his shoulders a mess and his body's taped up and his chest is full of. And Suzuki's just he's got a game plan and he's sticking with it.
I know you're excited. You're skipping a lot of context. Okay. So cool your jets, sir. Okay, we'll get to that. But for people who haven't been paying attention or didn't watch the show, Go Shiozaki started off this tournament like a house of fire. He had these great matches against Kento Miyahara and Yuma Anzai. But as the tournament moved along, his story, and it's been this way for years with him, even since he's been with Noah, is he's this battle-worn veteran who he's held together by keto tape. And, you know, and by the end of the tournament, he was getting upset by people he shouldn't have lost to because his body was beaten up so badly. And he came into the final block night with his ribs all taped up and his shoulder taped up and like wrapped up like a mummy. And he came into the semifinals on this night, even though it was 2 weeks later. He's still all wrapped up like a mummy and he's taped up.
He's got so much tape all over his body.
Yeah, so and then he has this rugged match against Madoka Kakuta, the Open the Dream Gate champion from Dragon Gate. And I'm just dying because I'm like, he's still taped up? Like he had 2 weeks off.
He didn't get enough time in the ice bath. No, he's still fucked.
So Kakuta is a big, thick boy now. I don't know if people have seen Kakuta lately. He was never a small guy, but he's got like the spare tire now. He's like a big guy, right? So he's putting a beating on Shiozaki and his broken down body. And the whole story is Shiozaki's going to have to overcome this physically. And he does. He hits the big lariat. He hit the Go Flasher first, but he kicked out of that. Everybody kicks out of the Go Flasher now is like the Sami Zayn Blue Thunder Bomb. Like, why even waste your time? No one, it's not pinning any. It's like the Matt Hardy side effect. Like it never,
right.
Like you're not getting the pin, right? So it used to be his finisher. It's not anymore. He hits the guy with the lariat now. So he hits Kakuta with the lariat and puts him away. Hideki Suzuki, his match is next against Rai Saito. He's just chill. He gets introduced first. He's just chilling in the corner as Rai Saito's coming into Dream Warriors. We got the Dokken blasting, right, for Rai Saito. Suzuki's just chilling. And I don't know how much of this tour you saw, but I covered the whole thing behind the paywall. Suzuki has been so awesome in this fucking thing because he's just been this no-nonsense ass kicker, right?
Mm-hmm. With a great game plan. He goes in every match with a perfect game plan.
Yeah, did you see the clips I put up when he beat Ren Ayabe and he was sticking his tongue out at him and taunting him and slapping him in the face? And he's like, yeah, fuck you. He's slapping him in the face. He's sticking his tongue out, right? I was like, this guy, like this, if he just would have been this his whole career, how cool would this have been, right? Like he's this big Billy Robinson trained shooter who's now like working like an asshole. Like in the past, he was a shoot asshole. Like he was a dick. Like he didn't want to do jobs for anybody. He was low effort in the ring. He would eat guys up. If he would lose, he would have the fucking boo-boo face. He'd roll out of the ring like he did against Kai and Wrestle 1. But now he's channeling all that shit into his work as opposed to being like a real life asshole. And it's great. The guy was awesome in the tournament. So he just beating people up and you know, just pound and like you were talking about, like we're going to talk about in the final. So he gets in there against Rai Saito, beats him with a schoolboy in like 40 seconds. In and out. So now you're like, holy shit. You got this beaten up, taped together Go Shiozaki, who is barely holding it together physically. And he's got to take on this fucking monster who just killed people in the whole tournament and worked a 30-second match in the semifinal. He's going to be fresh as a daisy, right? So they went into that final, and just like Rich said, Suzuki just beat the fuck out of this guy. He's just attacking that taped up midsection. He's attacking the injured shoulder. He's completely and thoroughly dominating the physically decimated Go Shiozaki, who's being held together by tape, and doing it with an edge. It was so fucking awesome to watch him beat this man up. And the whole time I'm watching it, I'm thinking they're going to ruin this because Go is going to find a way to win. And there is no fucking way that Go Shiozaki should win this match. There is no way in this fucking universe that he should find a way to beat Hideki Suzuki because he shouldn't be physically capable of doing it at this point. With the beating he has taken throughout the tournament and the beating that this man is putting on him in this match. It would be such a WWE ass finish if Go Shiozaki won this match. And I was preparing to come on this podcast and complain about it, but they didn't do that. Suzuki just beat him. He hit that fucking suplex and he beat him. And that made this go from a disappointing, annoying match that I was going to complain about to one of my favorite matches of the year.
And I watched a little bit. I didn't watch the whole tournament, but I as I started hearing that it was pretty good, I started jumping in. I forget exactly what day I watched, but like I said, the thing that got me with Suzuki is every match he went into in the tournament, he had a different plan of attack against every guy. But the way they told the story was this guy just had a very good plan of attack every single time, and it worked. Like against Saito, he was like, look, I can't grapple with this guy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump on his back, and I'm going to do a rear naked choke until I can get him down on one knee. And then, Saito fought out of it a little bit, but then, Suzuki was just able to kind of roll him up and just kind
like
of
a schoolboy.
It was like Saito was fucking around with the referee for a minute, and Suzuki went, you know what? I got a good opportunity here. I'll roll his ass up. 1, 2, 3. Okay, I got the win there. Whew, good. Shiozaki's working his ass off to beat Kakuta. I'd beat my dude in 1 minute and 30 seconds. I'm good to go. And then, he went into that main event and just beat the shit out of Go Shiozaki.
Yeah.
And when the look, you have to watch this match and see what Go Shiozaki looked like at the end of this match. I mean, he was nose bloody, chest red, tape on his shoulder,
tape falling off of
just sweat, and just a defeated man, a man that was just beaten within an inch of his life by Hideki Suzuki, who just won the match. You know what I mean? Like he hit that I forget what he calls his underhook.
The big suplex, the double underhook suplex.
Yeah, does it have a kitschy name? He probably doesn't have a kitschy name because why would Hideki?
We don't know the names of moves. No one cares.
But he hits it, and then Shiozaki kicked out, and I was like, man, here we go. Now Shiozaki's going to go, and then fire up or whatever. Yeah. And Suzuki just takes a deep breath, lifts his ass up, drops him again, and then rolls him over and gets the 1, 2, 3. And I'm like, all right, that works.
Awesome.
Yeah. It just, awesome. When all I'm asking for out of my wrestling in 2026 is to look like wrestling, and for it to be a battle of two men trying to determine who is the stronger, the better of the two. Like that's all I'm really asking for. So I've become a Hideki Suzuki pervert as a result of that, I guess.
Yeah, he's been so good. And it hasn't even just been in this tour. I've been talking him up over the last year or so. It's just ever since they got away from the comedy stuff he was doing with Suwama for a while there. He's just been everything I want in my wrestling, and in this tour, it really just hammered that home, and this final was so great. And it's the kind of match that American companies would be terrified to do to one of their top baby faces. Neither of the American companies would allow one of their top baby faces to be treated the way Go Shiozaki was here. They just wouldn't. They wouldn't allow it, and like I said, in WWE, Shiozaki would have won this match. It would have been this derivative comeback finish where he gets beat up the whole time. And despite all the damage he took in the tournament, he would hit his finisher and he'd win the fucking match. And I'd be annoyed. And I was prepared to be annoyed at this match. But they didn't do that. They just showed some guts and they had Suzuki finish the fucking job that everybody else started with the rest of the tournament. And that Kakuta continued in the semifinal. And it was refreshing to see. And because of that, it's one of my favorite matches of the year to this point. And
that was my hot take. Is like I think there's a spot in my top 10 that is currently this match is currently in. I
and it was 90% one guy.
Yeah,
it was 90% one guy. But that was the proper story to tell, bell to bell. I really did. I adored it. It was great. There was
really a bunch of times I loved in this match too, where Shiozaki would go for his chop and Suzuki just put his arms up. You know what I mean? It was like, no, you're not. You don't have the same velocity on it. You don't have the strength. Like, I'm not even going to take it. I'm just going to block it. And Go keeps trying to go to it because that's his go-to. Okay, well, I'm going to start chopping the fuck out of you. That's what I do. And he can't do it. And he can't do it. And he can't do it. And I just thought that was a really brilliant story to tell too. That Shiozaki is just, he got to this point and it killed him to get here. And he just can't get it done. He's done.
And he's going up against a monster. This guy's a fucking monster.
Right. He's just physically and mentally destroyed. And then Hideki Suzuki's got a perfect game plan that he just works to perfection and just starts literally, like I said, mounting him and just elbowing him in the chest and elbowing him in the stomach over and over and over again. And it's just, what a brilliant. And then just, hits his move, Go kicks out, and hits the move again and then pins him. It's like, oh, all right, and then gets that big win. The crowd goes, oh, when he does it too, because it was like they didn't really expect it either. I think they all expected Go to have that miraculous comeback. And it's, another thing too with All Japan, I think a big reason why they've been improved in 2026 is Go Shiozaki's such a great addition to this roster.
So good. He's so good.
And there was that weirdness when he first came in, and we were like, I don't know. It's like he had that match with Kento, and it was just like fine. And we were like, I don't know, man.
And they were doing the black T-shirt heel gang.
Yeah. And it was like a little worrisome but man, we're like, 7 months into it now, and it's like, this guy's such a great addition to this roster.
He was the MVP of this tournament. There's no doubt about that. He had like the 4 best matches of the tournament.
Anzai matches. Oh, God. People have to watch that.
Yeah, look, and he brings, they needed another guy, and they got another guy. And that's exactly what they needed. Maybe I don't know all the politics involved in all of that, but I think it's such a gigantic fucking mistake that this guy was available and New Japan didn't bring him in. I think it's such a mistake. But New Japan is so lost right now with their own shitty ideas, and it's such a
they
fucking
would use him in the worst way possible. So
He'd
I'm
probably
glad.
be in House of Torture.
Yeah, I'm glad they didn't.
He'd probably be in House of Torture. But he has just added so much. And look, like you said, they did a real nice house here too for a show that was going to be built around Go Shiozaki. So, everyone knew he was in the semi. Everyone knew he was going to the final. So, I think that the house that they drew is a feather in his cap. And as far as Yuma Anzai goes, he got to the finals of the Bachelorette, but the other guy got the rose. I watched the footage. He's a much better looking guy than the guy who won, by the way. By the way, I checked out the whole cast. He was clearly, if it was just going by looks, and he was the best looking guy.
He's a good looking fella. He's a good looking fella.
He's a good looking guy. He's a big 6'4", professional wrestler, alpha male. Maybe he's not 6'4", 6'3", 6'2", whatever he is. And he's good looking, nice haircut. Look, I don't know. Maybe he's a fucking airhead. Maybe he was a dick, but he got to the final. He didn't get the rose. But, and the guy that got the rose, I don't know. But he wrestled on this show. Did they? I think they worked that fucking leg injury at the end of the tournament.
Of course they did.
I think they worked it. I think it was just like, because he was fresh as a daisy here 2 weeks later.
He seemed fine. He seemed fine here in this 8-man tag or whatever. Yeah.
I think they were protecting him, or there was something weird going on, maybe to balance the points and with all the other injuries. And I don't know what was going on.
I figured it was protecting him doing a job and also getting the points all squared away.
Because the injury was in the other block, wasn't it? The first injury, the Saito injury was not. It was the different. So it was a different block. So I don't know if that would have been a factor. But it was weird, and he wrestled here, and he was, he's fine. I don't know. I feel like we may have all gotten worked on that one, which is fine. I'm all for that.
That's okay. Yeah.
But yeah, what a great final. And now we'll get Hideki Suzuki versus Kento Miyahara for the Triple Crown, and then we'll see where we go now with Go Shiozaki moving forward. Havoc are not really heels. They were heels. Now they kind of have a babyface presentation. I don't know if they're meant to be baby faces, but they don't come across as heels on the show.
No, they came out here and they're just like dancing and jumping around to the crowd. And they were against Hakotu Gun or whatever. So it was like, they've kind of turned. So I don't know if they're tweeners, but they kind of feel like face-leaning tweeners to me, at least. They do.
They feel like faces to me. They're definitely not in the mold of Team 2000X or House of Torture.
No. And I was worried they were going to be, and they really haven't done that.
And they're not that at all. They, outside of just wearing black and being a gang, they don't really behave that way. They're not interfering in each other's matches or anything like that. So, very enjoyable. Awesome final. And I really enjoyed the whole tournament. I thought the Champion Carnival was, look, it struggled a little down the stretch, the final show or two. A lot of these tournaments do, though. You get tired of watching the same guys every night. A lot of that is just viewer fatigue, too, along with performance fatigue. Both of those things. But on the whole, I thought it was a very enjoyable tournament. Night one with the great main event all the way through the great final.
So there you go. Anything else on the actual show, the rest of the show? I picked and choose. I watched a couple matches here and there, but it was mostly just inconsequential tags. And
No, I don't have any thoughts about anything else.
Yeah. Let's sign off here. So we will be back on Sunday, as we said, Sunday night, immediately following Double or Nothing. We're going live, instant reaction live for AEW Double or Nothing 2026. That'll be exclusive on the $10 tier. And if you have never listened to an instant reaction live before, this is not a this is not going to be a 20-minute recap and review of Double or Nothing. We go in depth. We go 2+ hours. Sometimes we go 3 hours. We talk about every single match on the card. We talk about big picture stuff. We talk about angles. We talk about. We also get some banter and some other bullshit along the way as well. But you were going to get your money's worth. I know it is. It does seem kind of hard to believe that we're not just getting right down to business there.
It goes off topic, you say?
A couple times. Yeah, a couple times in the history of Insurrection Live, it has gone a little off topic. But yeah, for the most part, you are getting the most extensive and the best post pay-per-view review show in the game. We guarantee it. So that'll be on the $10 tier. Instant Reaction Live, flagship.patreon.com, this Sunday, immediately following Double or Nothing. So that is it for us on the Flagship. Voicesofwrestling.com for previews, reviews, and columns. Voicesofwrestling.com/Discord. Also want to welcome the Ballot podcast to the Voice of Wrestling Podcast Network as well. The Ballot, a great show hosted by Ryan, doing a Wrestling Observer newsletter Hall of Fame show all year round. So always covering new candidates. You did a Sabu show, I want to say, like a year or two ago for the Ballot podcast, but a natural addition to the Voice Wrestling Podcast Network. So subscribe to the Ballot on your podcast app of choice, or just subscribe to the Voice Wrestling Podcast Network feed, and you'll get the Ballot in there as well. So happy to have Ryan aboard, and really excited but have the Ballot podcast on the podcast network. So that is it for us. That is Joe. I'm Rich. Talk to you next time. Take care. Bye.
Hello, do you like New Japan Pro Wrestling? Are you a Shin Nihon freak? If so, check out the Super J-Cast with Joel and Damon on the Voices of Wrestling Podcast Network.
And even if you fucking hate New Japan Pro Wrestling, listen to the Super J-Cast anyway. Not just for our great show reviews, analysis, and pastrami sandwiches, but there's also usually some dick jokes somewhere in the obligatory opening 30 minutes of absolute nonsense we chat about every single week. That's the Super J-Cast for all the best talk about New Japan Pro Wrestling, crisps, and pornography.
Most people don't realize how much their personal information is being bought and sold every day. Data brokers are making billions, pulling details about you from public records and the internet, and then packaging and selling it, usually without your consent. That's how your information lands in the hands of scammers, spammers, even stalkers. It's why you get endless robocalls and why ads seem to follow you everywhere. That's where Aura comes in. Aura actively removes your data from broker sites and keeps it off. They also instantly alert you if your information shows up in a breach or on the dark web. But Aura goes beyond data protection. With one app, you get a VPN, antivirus, password manager, spam call protection, dark web monitoring, and even up to $5 million in identity theft insurance. All backed by 24/7 US-based fraud support. Other companies might sell just credit monitoring or just a VPN. Aura gives you all of it, together, at the same price competitors charge for just one service. Start your free trial today at aura.com/remove. Protect yourself now at aura.com/remove.